Patriots are looking for big plays. They're last in the NFL in rushing, and today they're changing pitchers. They're going to get another starting quarterback, hoping to get those big plays.
Because of injury, Eason out, Grogan out. Now it's Tom Ramsey. This is his first NFL start. He's thrown just 16 passes in this 1987 NFL season. And frankly, Don, I think the New England Patriots are on the brink.
And there's a guy Trump would like to push him over the brink. Their former coach, who was fired here, even though he had a winning record as coach of the Patriots.
Yeah, this New England football team, unfortunately, kind of coming apart at the seams. They've lost 2 in a row, 3 of their last 4. And all of a sudden, the people here in Boston now accusing Raymond Berry of being too soft on his football players when he was credited with being soft on the players when they went to the Super Bowl. Now, here's the biggest factor in the game today, the wind in the Rock-Hard Stadium. Interesting to note that New England won the toss and chose to have the wind at their back to start the football game. The Patriots feel that they must throw the football today to be in the game. So, therefore, they start with the wind at Tom Ramsey's back.
And it's a good day to run the football, cold and windy, although, as you see, the sun is shining brightly, but that field is rock hard. The Patriots come in with some problems. They had the Dallas Cowboys beaten last week on this field, led with less than 2 minutes to play. Dallas came back to tie it, and then Herschel Walker beat him with a touchdown run in overtime. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Dean Biasucci has been a very effective place kicker, and now back deep is Elgin Davis, first-year runner. Irving Fryer might be in the doghouse here in New England. He's normally the kick returner. First game after the strike, the Colts beat the Patriots at the Hoosier Dome. And here is Elgin Davis at the 10. He's across the 20, gets an open channel, and gets out to about the 27-yard line. Tom Ramsey, a standout at UCLA, very limited playing time in the NFL, starts at quarterback with Tony Collins and Mosey Tutupu. The Patriots last in the NFL in rushing last year, down near the bottom again this season. Looking for some big passing plays, perhaps Stanley Morgan and Irving Fryer, the wide receivers, Lynn Dawson, the tight end. Offensive line starts a pair of rookies at the tackles, Danny Villa from Arizona State, and a very good tackle on the right side has started all year long, Bruce Armstrong from Louisville. First and 10, and Ramsey looking to throw deep, and does. Open man, he makes a connection at the 46-yard line. The super fleet Stanley Morgan coming from the left flank, over the middle for an 18-yard gain.
Freddie Robinson on the tackle. You can see the New England Patriots want to start quickly. Now, you've got to respect Stanley Morgan's speed, and throughout his career, he has had a heyday against the Indianapolis Colts. They want to get him into the ball game quickly, and they have.
Freddie Robinson, rookie from Alabama. Now they go to the run, and that's a part of the Patriot game, a struggling part. They go right at the Colt defense, which has gotten very tough in recent weeks. Donnell Thompson, the left end, made the play there. John Hand, who like Thompson was a #1 draft choice at right end. Jerome Salley from the Giants, the nose tackle. Linebackers, the strength of the defense. Cooks, Odom, Krause, and Bickett. Bickett has been all world since the strike. Secondary is somewhat suspect. They don't have a lot of #1s there. In fact, there's 3 #8 draft choices, no #1s. Now the Patriots set up with 3 wide receivers, 2nd and 7. Ramsey throws a free ball. It'll be now 3rd down and 7. Tried to hit Mosey Tutupu coming out of the backfield. Linebacker Cliff Odom broke it up.
Colts at the outset begin with the zone defense all over the field. Bickett, number 50, is the big pass rusher for the Indianapolis Colts. Sean Farrell, 62. You can see the respect already that New England pays to Bickett. They don't assign a running back to him. They slide out a guard.
To the shotgun they go with 4 wide receivers in the game for New England. No score. This is the opening drive. Ramsey against a big rush, stands in, fires hard, a timing pattern. He was looking at Derwin Williams, but as you see, it comes in a bit high. So the Patriots stall on their first drive after hitting the 18-yard pass for a 1st down. They'll have to punt the ball, and kicking into the wind will be Camarillo, one of the best. Going back deep now for the Indianapolis Colts. Looks like number 80 is heading back there. Bill Brooks, the standout receiver from Boston University. There's Camarillo ready to hit the ball at about his 38-yard line. Brooks standing and waiting. Gets it low into the wind and quite well considering the conditions. Brooks takes it, did not fair catch the ball, and runs it back to the 25-yard line.
Rod McSwain making the tackle on Brooks.
Down to make the play was Rod McSwain, a 28-yard punt, a 5-yard return. And here comes Gary Hogeboom out to run the Indianapolis offense. Coach Ron Myers says it's not just his arm, it's the intangibles. His leadership, his toughness. Dickerson, the best in the business, running the ball in the backfield. Booz and Brooks, the wideouts. Pat Beach, not a fast tight end, but a good blocker and very sure-handed. And Tim Sherwin from Boston College nearby will be the H-back, the blocking back, really a second tight end, often in motion.
This offensive line from Indianapolis, not very well known, but now with Dickerson, it'll get all kinds of attention, and it's a good one.
It really is. Hinton's been a Pro Bowl player. Schultz having a tremendous year at right guard. Dickerson tries the Patriots middle, and Toby Williams, the nose tackle, knocks him down for virtually no gain at the 25-yard line. Kenneth Sims, who was the #1 draft choice in the NFL, was on the play, and he starts at left end. Toby Williams, the first hitter, and Garin Veras, the other two down linemen. Andre Tippett had 3 sacks against the Cowboys last week. He's tied for the AFC lead with 8. Nelson McGrew, the inside backers. Cornerbacks are strong. Very good secondary. Colts haven't thrown an interception in their last 4 games. Hogeboom fires and makes a connection to Brooks. He's over the middle and out to the 38-yard line. First down, Colts. 12-yard gain. The safeties, Fred Marion and Jim Bowman, were on the tackle.
You can see already the influence that Eric Dickerson has on this defense. The linebackers were hugging the line of scrimmage. The inside backers, Nelson and McGrew, allowed Bill Brooks a nice little alley there to catch the pass. That was an easy one for Hogeboom. You got to set up a defense when you play Eric Dickerson. You got to set up a defense that keeps everybody across the line of scrimmage. The best cutback runner in the NFL.
Right now, he takes the shortest distance between 2 points, right straight at New England. And finally, Bowman knocks him down, but Eric Dickerson runs from scrimmage for 17 yards.
Eric Dickerson gets this ball way deep. He sits almost 7.5 to 8 yards deep. Hogeboom tries to hustle it back there to him. And then this time he goes straight ahead. Steve Nelson, 57, misses a tackle. 31, Marion misses a tackle. This kid's 6'3", 217 pounds, has 4% body fat, and is jet powered.
Fabulous player. Now in his 5th year in the league, he's averaged almost 4.8 yards a carry over his career. 1,600 carries. Led the league in rushing 3 of his first 4 years. Nobody runs the ball as often as Dickerson, or as well. Straight ahead throw down to the 40-yard line. Hogeboom with a strong arm guns it into the wind. Actually, the wind at his back in this quarter, and gets it ahead 6 yards. Making the reception was the tight end, Pat Beach. Jim Bowman and Ed Williams were on the stop for the Patriots.
You can see the Colts very, very conservative in their offense throwing the ball. Take the underneath stuff because they have such a weapon in the offensive backfield in Eric Dickerson. Those numbers you saw, Eric Dickerson cannot win the conference rushing title, but can win the league rushing title.
Ron Meyer says you want to go how good Hogeboom is. He's 6-1 since we've come in as coaching staff. And here's Dickerson breaking it. Turns the corner and gets out of bounds. With that lengthening stride, he has the ability to rear back, change speeds. This time his gain is good for 9 yards.
When you look at this kid's stride, you can understand why great tacklers miss him. About the 3rd step, he's underway. Excellent job up front by Kevin Call, 71 on 57 Nelson. And then the wide receivers, 2 of the Colts, must learn that on every running play they've got to block, because those are the blocks that produce the 30-yard runs.
Fake to Dickerson. Hogeboom looks. There's a man open down the middle, but the ball is separated from Bill Brooks at the 5-yard line. Very nearly a very big connection for Indianapolis. On a 1st and 10 play, Hogeboom tries to go for 6. No score in the first quarter. The Colts working with the wind at their back on this very cold day. Temperature in the low 30s, but with the strong wind, the chill factor is way down.
Billy Brooks is an excellent indication of the unselfishness of this Indianapolis Colts. Last year, a 1,000-yard receiver. This year, realizing when Eric Dickerson gets here, he's not going to get the ball as much, does not mind it a bit. More than willing to block for Eric Dickerson.
10:41 to play first quarter. Second and 10 throw. Tip ball at the line of scrimmage. That time the Patriots got the heat on Hogaboom. Matt Booza was the intended receiver. Gary Hogaboom is big, 6'4", 210 pounds. Toby Williams, the nose tackle, got a hand on the ball. As we check the scoreboard around the league for the first time this Sunday afternoon with 6 regular season games to play. No score up yet in any of those 3 games. First quarter. Big down now. Indianapolis with the ball, third down and 10. 32-yard line of the Patriots.
Albert Bentley in the backfield. He's their big receiver out of the backfield.
They hand off to Albert Bentley, but the Patriots don't buy it. Looking to catch him in a deep drop on zone coverage on the passing down. Colts try to cross him up with the run, and Johnny Rembert makes a stick. And now it'll be a long field goal attempt for Dean Biasucci, who's been terrific this year. In fact, has hit 13 of his last 14 inside the 50. This will be a 46-yard attempt, but he is kicking with a very strong wind at his back. He'll probably put it in the stands.
Ron Stark is the holder. He's 2 for 2 this season. Those are excellent numbers.
On the way. 46-yarder is plenty long, but wide of the mark and no good. And the Patriots will take over the ball with still no score and 9:53 to play. So the Colts move the ball, mixing the pass and the run, but when it comes time for points, they come up empty. Back at Foxborough, the Patriots send their defense to the sideline, finally stopping the Colt drive. The field goal attempt from 46 yards out by Biasucci was wide with the wind at his back, but it's a gusting wind, could have blown the ball off. And now with 9:53 to play and no score in the quarter, the Patriots go on offense again with Ramsey at quarterback. 2 tight ends in the game. To the run they go. This is Tony Collins. He turns it up, gets across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line where Donnell Thompson knocked him down. 5 of the 7 front players, the down linemen and the backers, are #1 draft choices, or were when they came into the league. Donnell Thompson, #1 out of North Carolina. And this Colt defense, Trump, really forces the turnovers. They forced 11 more turnovers than their offense is committed.
That's the big change in this team, too. Last year, they were -9 in turnovers.
Second and 5. Colt corners come up as Ramsey looks to throw. Open man. Stanley Morgan running in the open field, and finally they get him down. The last line of defense gets him. The free safety, Freddie Robinson, ran him down at the 36-yard line, but it's a 30-yard gain for New England.
Morgan, nicknamed the Roadrunner, continues to play well because he has not lost any foot speed. You see him going by Barry Krause, 55, taking advantage of that zone coverage. If Ramsey has time, the foot speed of the New England receivers, they'll get open. You can see that wind blowing against him. Ramsey's throwing the ball into the wind very well to this point, Don.
Yes, he is, and it's a gusting wind that he's got to gun it into, but they practice on this field, so they're used to it. Here's a handoff to Collins on 1st and 10, and he's inside the Colts' 35-yard line. Game clock down to 8:23 in the first quarter as Wayne Bickett comes off the play.
Here's one of the rookie starters for the New England Patriots, a tackle, Danny Villa. He gets inside John Hand, pushes him along the line of scrimmage. So there's not much more you can ask of a rookie offensive lineman than that. Making his second start, Steve Moore, a bad ankle, so Villa is in there, and Bruce Armstrong, the other tackle, started all season.
Now rookie from Michigan is the upback, Bob Perriman. He leads the blocking as Tony Collins runs the ball and very well behind Perriman. It takes it down inside the 25-yard line, down close to the 20. An 11-yard game. Perriman, number 34, came in here and has been outstanding. He was a 3rd-round draft choice. Said they've never had a guy that picks up the system as fast. You show it to him once and he's got it. He plays like a veteran. He's going to get a lot more work, and that time he really keyed that run from.
I tell you, this New England football team is schizophrenic. Sometimes they play like there is nobody in the league that can stay with them, and other times they play like absolute chumps. It's just all attitude, self-confidence. Initial drives, New England is up in the pit, as they say today.
Moving well on this drive. No score in the first quarter. Ramsey again to throw on 1st down, but he's in trouble. And that is the Colts' first sack in 3 games. But while they've not gotten any sacks in their previous 2 games, they forced 2 of the best passers in the NFL under 50%, Fouts and Marino. So they've kept the pressure on. That time Johnny Cook's got him.
There you see Steve Grogan calling the plays. Doug Flutie signaling them in with the headset on. Grogan is out with a bad shoulder. He has a first-degree sprain of his left shoulder, and he's playing coach. This is definitely Grogan country.
Watch out for Irving Fryer, the slot back, second back in from the top of your screen against the Nesby Glasgow. Now if they go to the run, and there's not much there on 2nd and 11, the Colts stay home. Perriman got the call. Even some of the New England players, Trump, as you know, have been critical of their team's conservatism on offense and defense. They're running the ball when they haven't been able to run the ball.
Well, but
keep trying.
The strange thing is, though, when the New England Patriots went to the Super Bowl, they had 2,000-yard rushers. And yet the players here in New England are very upset about the conservative nature. Now, this team has not been able to run the ball at all in the last 2 seasons. And that's what wins you football games in the NFL, running the ball and playing rush defense.
But ironically, last year they were last in the NFL in rushing the Patriots. They won their division with 11-5, and they're the highest scoring team in the league. Ramsey tries to run on third down and doesn't get there. He gets to the 20-yard line, but wisely positions the ball right straight on. Byron Darby knocked him down. The field goal will be 37 or 38 yards from here.
Tony Franklin coming in has had a bad ankle, not his kicking ankle. The other ankle has been very, very sore. He's kicking into a real stiff wind.
Can't imagine why his foot's sore coming out here when it's a chill factor of about 0 with no shoe.
But his left foot is the one that bothers him. His right foot is chapped. It looks like somebody hit it with a hammer. And this football, when it's cold, feels like a rock.
Gusting wind. Tough conditions, but Tony Franklin, he doesn't get there. There is a penalty marker down, though, on the play. So we'll get that sorted out. Both teams missing their opening scoring attempts, field goals in this very tough wind. 5:49 to play in the first quarter. Referee is Gordon McCarter, and he's going to tell us what's happening. Looks like that's call against the Patriots.
Holding number 50 offense. Penalty declined. First down the other way.
That's on McGrew, the outside hook man. You can see it very plainly. It happens on the left. We'll come back and show you that again. Good call by the officials.
Tony Franklin tried to play the wind, but today you can't. Don Cookie with Bob Trumpy back at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. No score in the first quarter. 5:49 to play in it. Colts have the ball now, starting after the missed field goal at their 20. Dickerson, who's run well, doesn't find any room that time. Eric Dickerson straight at the Patriots. Let's check that missed field goal now, Trump.
You'll watch Lawrence McGrew at the outside of the field goal formation. Eugene Daniels, a man coming around the corner. And you see when McGrew grabs the jersey, the flag is thrown. Indianapolis refuses the penalty, takes over the ball.
Colts coming off a win at Miami last week that Ron Meyer called the turning point in the future of this team. After 14 straight losses to the Dolphins, trailing 14-0 in the first quarter, the Dolphins came back to blow away Miami 40-21. Tips back, goes to Bentley. And Albert Bentley, with the connection almost intercepted, runs ahead on a 2nd and 9 play to the 28-yard line. Backing him down on the play, Steve Nelson and Fred Marion.
When Hogeboom tries to get this ball to Albert Bentley, it almost gets away from him. You can see that Hogeboom throws it up in his face mask. Bentley does a great job of hanging on to it. And then turns it into a nice 8-yard pickup. And he comes out. And the NFL's leading rusher 3 of the last 4 seasons goes in.
Bentley's a terrific back, too. His career, including 2 years in the U.S. Football League, he averages over 5 yards a carry. Dickerson tries the Patriots, and those big backers are shooting the gaps, and they're taking that away, getting to him before he can cut outside. McGrew and Nelson knocked him down, and so the Colts have to punt the ball.
And you can see what New England is doing here. Rod Russ, the defensive coordinator of New England, Nelson credited with the tackle. The defensive line is not trying to penetrate. They're standing up the offensive line of the Indianapolis Colts and giving Dickerson no place to run.
Stark, who's been to the Pro Bowl as a punter, hits an end-over-end punt downfield as Irving Fryer chases it. And it hops out of bounds somewhere inside the 20-yard line. We'll see where they spot it, about the 18-yard line. So the Patriots take over again with no score up, and they'll be working into the wind with a long drive coming. Back at Foxborough, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Reason there's great optimism in the capital city of Indiana. A win today would give the Colts, Trump, their best start in 10 years since they were division champion in Baltimore.
Yeah, now what Indianapolis has to do is sustain it, stay on top. And right now they're facing a good defensive idea from New England, and that is they're standing right at the line of scrimmage, and Dickerson has no place to run.
After those early runs, they have slowed him down, and now Tony Collins behind a trap block angles into the Colt defense, gets to the 20-yard line. First down carry as the game clock is winding down in the first quarter with still no points up either way. 3:30 to play.
Donnell Thompson that time on the tackle. This New England football team has to run a little bit just to keep the defense of the Colts honest. I think their number one priority today is to throw the ball. Collins now 5 carries, 25 yards.
Good pass blocking. Ramsey again, an over the middle throw, but this time Stanley Morgan cannot make the reception at the 33-yard line. It would have gone for another big gain. He was open. He's so fast. Despite 11 years in the NFL, he's one of the fastest players in the league.
You can see how things have really turned for the New England Patriots, and most of that is in part injury, and also they just don't seem to have the proper attitude playing this year. The strike certainly didn't help this football team. We got an injury report from New England too. Jim Bowman has a concussion. Roland James already out.
The other strong safety. So injury problems for the Patriots early in the game, and really all season long, as Ramsey looks and throws, and coming down with the ball very nicely is Cedric Jones. Very outspoken and very talented wide receiver from Duke. An 11-yard gain and a first down. Jones during the week said flatly, we're just not playing with any emotion, with any spirit. We're too conservative. We're losing games. People aren't beating us.
Colts not getting pressure on Ramsey. SB Glasgow misses the tackle there, but you can see the total zone by Indianapolis. And the Patriots just throwing the ball underneath. There's a lot of space between the linebackers and the defensive backs now in this Colt defense.
Reggie Dupart is now the tailback from SMU. He's a former #1 draft choice, and running on first down, he's out to about the 34-yard line as the Colt linebackers, very big and powerful, make the knockdown. Cooks was on the play, and look out for Cliff Odom, the inside backer, 93. Last week against Miami, he forced 3 fumbles with his hellacious hits.
Odom last week, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. 2 weeks ago, it was Dwayne Bickett. So the defense is certainly gaining a reputation in the NFL.
Ramsey pitch back near side, and running hard with the ball and breaking it for the moment is Dupart, and he's out across the 40, and he has a first down for New England. Finally knocked out of bounds by outside backer Dwayne Bickett. Thompson's all over the field today. Robinson came up.
Running near side, you see Danny Villa, 73, is able to hook Donnell Thompson. Then a good lead block out front by 34 Perryman. That's Bickett on the ground, number 50. Dupart running tough. He's been hurt last year. He had a turf toe. This year a hip problem. Finally back and healthy. That's what the Patriots need. A good, healthy running back.
Still no score. Patriots coming in 24th running the ball. There's been a lot of local movement to get the ball more, and finally they're doing it, and on this pitch back he runs it out to the 47. A 6-yard gain on first down, almost 7. Raymond Berry, the coach of the Patriots, Trump, as you're well aware, has been under fire for going with veteran players that went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but this is not a team on the rise the way it's played in recent weeks this season after an 11-5 season a year ago, and coming in the, some say, the weakest division in the NFL is now the weakest team.
I don't blame Raymond Berry for going with players who are experienced and played in the Super Bowl. I think that's very smart.
Well, when they're getting 2 yards of rush, it isn't that smart. That's what Tony Collins has been doing the last 3 games. He's getting the ball. Here's Perriman, a rookie, busting it up the middle. And Bob Perriman from Michigan's on the run, heading for the end zone. Eugene Daniel has a play on him at the 5-yard line. So the Patriots going to their young backs today, getting production. touchdown.
And this is the longest run from scrimmage by a regular player from the New England Patriots in 1987. He breaks a tackle there of Barry Krause and then heads to the outside. Looks like Eugene Daniels, the last guy to push him out, does. 48-yard pickup. It's a sprint draw, and it catches the Indianapolis Colts kind of looking around a little bit. Perriman makes the best of it.
Well, the Patriots challenging now in a scoreless game late in the first quarter. Here's a pitch back on a big defensive play. Barry Krause made the tackle, but Bickett turned the run right into him, beating the block. A loss of 3 yards, and so now the Patriots have a tough play call.
Loss of 3.
Second and goal from the 8, as we're just about out in the first quarter. That'll be it. Stadium is sold out, and it's come alive now in the 48-yard run by rookie Bob Perriman. When we come back, the Patriots will be second and goal from the Indianapolis 8.
From behind the offense, a perfect picture of the draw play. Sean Farrell sets up, selling pass. We got a roll around by the right guard Wooden, and the key block is Guy Morris. Now you're going to see Perriman slide over here and then cut back, and all of a sudden he is gone. Watch the block by 75. He gets on Cliff Odom, gets him on the ground, and Perriman ends up 48 yards later with the biggest run of the season for a Patriot running back.
Now they go, second down and goal from the 8. Ramsey looks, hard throw, it's a touchdown for the Patriots. Gunning the ball to Irving Fryer on a tight spiral, low trajectory. Defense couldn't get a hand on it, and Fryer holds on to a fastball for an 8-yard touchdown reception, and the Patriots go on the board first, a 6-0 lead.
Fryer's third touchdown reception of the season, and this is a bullet. Well thrown by Tom Ramsey. He keeps it in the framework of the receiver's body. It's just a little slant in pass by Fryer. Very difficult to cover. He gets inside 42. Willie Tullis. The play all set up by that big run by Perriman.
That's only his 14th reception this season. His third for a touchdown, though. Now Franklin find the extra point with that gusting wind at his back, and he drillers it up. And good. And it's a 7-0 game. New England.
You can see Fryer at the bottom of the, over to the left-hand side of the screen, come into the picture. Ramsey really comes down hard on that one. Really follows through on it, puts a lot of steam into it. 6 points, New England.
In the end zone is Irving Fryer for the first score of the game. He's been a man with a lot of troubles here in New England. He's kind of like the old Little Abner comic strip character Joe Bliffstick, who walked around with a rain cloud over his head. His most recent difficulty, he claims he was shot at outside a jewelry store. It's always something.
Raymond Berry said that eventually you grow tired of waiting for Irving Fryer to live up to his pre-billing. And he said no one is indispensable in this game. Certainly Eric Dickerson proves that. Anybody can be traded.
Coach Raymond Berry, who of course is the Colts all-time leading receiver from his Hall of Fame days in Baltimore, looking on, bundled up like a duck hunter as the ball is hit downfield. Free ball on the turf, and he better pick it up, and finally does, and there's the knockdown made at the 22-yard line. So not much happened there, as coming down to make the play on Terry Wright was Derwin Williams. Jim Perriman, an up-back, finally got the ball. Terry Wright was the man they were trying to take it, and then Perriman did well just to fall on it. So the Patriots now send out their defense, and the Colts go from their 22-yard line. Pattern, and with the ball is the H-back, one of the two tight ends. It goes to Tim Sherwin.
You can see the turnaround in the Colts. One of the big factors, of course, is the turnover rate. Plus 11 this year, minus 9 last year. Colts are 2-1 with Eric Dickerson in the backfield. That's a nice little hitch pattern. Just taking advantage of the defense, what they give him.
Boom with two wide receivers set to the left. Booza coming in motion, now coming back. And to the run they go to Eric Dickerson. Patriots are waiting for him as he gets to the 38-yard line. Toby Williams was on the stop along with Lawrence McGrew.
Ron, the New England Patriots have also flipped Andre Tippett to the wide side of the field. Now, one of the things you've got to be very, very careful with, there you see Tippett. Now, he's playing the near side, which is the side that used to be held down by Don Blackman. And what they're trying to do is make sure that the defense can't key in on what side Tippett is lined up on. Defense doing a great job, too, of just standing up at the line of scrimmage, giving Dickerson no place to run.
Hogaboom on 2nd and 8 as markers go down. So does Gary Hogaboom at about the 38-yard line. Andre Tippett, the sack master, takes the AFC lead with 9 for the season.
That's the first of the day. Illegal procedure against Indianapolis. I'm sure they'll take the sack. You see Tippett. And when you put a running back, even Eric Dickerson, on Andre Tippett, it's a mismatch.
Illegal formation. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Penalty declined. 3rd down.
Loss of 6 on the play with 13:20 to play in the first half. Hogaboom comes in completing 61% of his passes. You see Andre Tippett, number 1 in the AFC. Now with his 9th sack. Got one a moment ago. Hogaboom on 3rd and long. Gets it away. He has a man, and Brooks comes down with the ball across the 45-yard line. And he's going to be very close, depending on the spot, to a first down. A gain of 8 or 9 yards. Nice throw-catch combination.
Raymond Claiborne in coverage. Hogaboom stood in there. Had an all-out blitz by New England. 56 comes from the right. Rembert 52 in there. Garen Veras right in his face. Hogaboom stands strong, gets it to Bill Brooks, and his forward progress when his feet come down is where the ball was placed. This is 4th down, and they're going to send on the punt team. Yeah, here comes Ron Stark. Ron Meyer taking no chances whatsoever. Now Tippett's on the other side. Yeah, they got him on the other side. Ron Solt, 66, picks him up. Does a good job in pass protection. 52 Rembert trying to get in there.
On Stark, averaging 41 a punt this year. He's averaged over 45 in previous seasons. Tough punt to handle. And the Patriots don't. Free ball at the 28-yard line, but the Patriots seem to have gotten it back. With 12:01 to play in the first half, New England leading 7-0. It was a 27-yard punt into the wind.
This isn't a very good snap, but Stark still able to get it off. I think he felt that if he kicked it, he would hit Cliff Odom right in the rear end, so he adjusted a little bit. The ball hit a New England Patriot player, but the Patriots did recover.
Today's game is brought to you by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors, by AT&T, the right choice, and by Magnavox. When you're just a little smarter, people notice. Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
Back to live action. Patriots have the ball in a 7-0 lead as Ramsey goes long, and his man is there, but can't hold out at the 48-yard line of Indianapolis. Tony Collins was the intended receiver. Raymond Claiborne, a starting corner and a number of times an all-pro player. Sidelined at the moment. He's been banged up. Some of the best Patriot players are out for the season, like quarterback Tony Eason, gone with a separated shoulder. Linebacker Don Blackman. Running back Craig James.
Here's the drive chart for the New England Patriots today. That touchdown, biggest run of the season, actually since 1985, by Bob Perriman, set that touchdown up.
Time with Claiborne seemed to be his left knee. Ramsey on 2nd and 10 throws, and with the ball is Tutupu, who gets to the 33-yard line. Big blocking back, a veteran from Southern California. Mosey Tutupu's ahead, and that'll bring up 3rd and about 5. 11:40 to go in the first half, and the clock is running.
Eugene Daniel that time on the tackle. On the Patriots doing an excellent job of just throwing the little dump-off pass. Now, this is the kind of offense that the Patriots run when Tony Eason is at quarterback. When Steve Grogan is at quarterback, he's a little more impatient, throws the ball down the field a little more. High percentage of completion. Give it to the running back. Let him run. 4 receivers now for New England.
Ramsey finally getting his chance. Barry has always said he could be a star in this league if he got the chance, and now he's giving it to him. And here is Collins in the open field. And Tony Collins is all the way out to midfield. A first down play and a 17-yard gain as Ramsey's mixing his throws and hitting everybody.
Nesby Glasgow was the man in coverage. Collins runs an excellent pattern out of the backfield. Again, good pass protection. Time for Ramsey to look around. He's locked on to Tony Collins. There's 25, Nesby Glasgow, who misses the tackle. And we pick up Danny Villa, a rookie starting just his second game, doing an excellent job on the Colts' best pass rusher, Dwayne Bickett.
So the Patriots with a 7-0 lead go back to the run. Here's Dupard turning wide on another big play, as this time Bickett makes the knockdown for a loss with 10:15 to play in the first half. Dwayne Bickett in his 3rd year now to Southern California. Big, 6'5", 250 pounds. Just a terrific player and gets better every game.
He leads the Colts in solo hits, assists, and sacks. Not a bad performance. There's Claiborne going off. They've already left. They've already put Jim Bowman on the sideline for the day with a concussion. Now Ray Claiborne. Roland James missing this week because of an injury. They don't have many left.
Oh, they don't. Bob Perriman, who broke that long run to set up the touchdown, is back in the backfield now. He's pass blocking for Ramsey, who's in trouble for the moment, gets away and throws and completes on the run down to the 41. Coming up with the ball was Stanley Morgan. Eugene Daniel really popped him, but to no avail. He held on. It's a 16-yard New England gain.
Morgan knows he's going to get hit too when he goes up in the air to get this one. The crossing pattern from the far side of the field. This time Eugene Daniel, they change up the defense. He's locked on to Stanley Morgan, and he pounds him to the ground. It's enough to bring up 3rd down and short. Patriots pretty much having their way against the pass defense of the Colts.
Yes, they are. Ramsey has now thrown 7 completions to 5 different receivers. 3rd and short. 3rd and less than 1. 7-0 New England, 2nd quarter. Tatupu turns the corner. He's caught and thrown down. There was a free ball on the field for a minute. Mary Krause was the first man to get him. A loss of a yard on the play.
That play took a long time to develop. Barry Krause, an excellent job of just sliding along the line of scrimmage. Collins, 33 out in front, tries to get a block, runs right by 55. Barry Krause runs right by him. Krause is there to make the tackle for a yard loss.
Talk about high picks. Barry Krause is one of the top players picked when he came out in '79. Johnny Cooks, the outside backer on the left, was the number 2 player pick. It was the year Kenneth Sims came out.
Got the Colt down on the field.
So both sides losing people with 8:39 to play, and the Patriots in the lead.
Watch this last play. Barry Krause's read is the guard, and when he pulls, he follows him. He follows him immediately. Now, one of the major rules in football is on blocking, never pass up a defender. You see Tony Collins right there running right by Krause, and Krause makes the tackle for a loss of 1. New England has to punt.
Camarillo ready to hit it. Wind at his back. A very high punt. Well placed. Forcing a fair catch by Bill Brooks. Now he lets it go and makes a wise move as it hops into the end zone for a touchback. And the Colts will have the ball at their 20-yard line to go 1st and 10. That was a 42-yard punt, but 20 comes off. There's Dwayne Bickett. Shaken up a bit ago, but he did walk off. Chicago with a 14-7 lead over the Lions at the moment. Tampa Bay, an underdog at home against the 49ers with the lead. Jets and Bills still scoreless in the first quarter. 2nd quarter now. Cleveland, a tough club, and a matchup of divisional leaders in the AFC Central, leading at Houston. Hogaboom play faking. Here's a throw, and here's a catch to Bill Brooks, and he's in the open field across the 40, hit from behind and knocked ahead for another 3 yards, all the way out to the 44-yard line. Colts have their biggest gain of the day at 24-yarder.
Holmes makes the tackle, but the man in coverage was Ernest Gibson. He was on Bill Brooks, and Brooks, faking that good foot speed, just stopped. Gary Hogaboom able, once again, with good pass protection, able to stand right there and look at Brooks and make the completion. You see Gibson, 43, bottom of the screen, along with Bill Brooks again. It's a spot that they'll exploit.
Brooks caught 65 as a rookie. 4th round draft choice. He was sensational. Straight ahead give for about 3 or 4 yards out to the 48-yard line on a 1st down carry. Bill Brooks showed very well at the Senior Bowl. Ran fast when he got down there, but the earlier line on him was he wasn't that quick, but he was tremendous at doing what he has to do, and that's catch it.
His coach is Chip Myers, former teammate of mine. He likens him to Charlie Joyner. There's no higher compliment I think you can pay a receiver.
That is high praise. Joyner, the all-time leader. Largent took over as Dickerson runs on 2nd down and 6, and Darrell Holmes, a backup defender, in because of injuries, makes the stop. It'll be 3rd and very short for Indianapolis.
Look, you got Holmes and you got Dickerson connected at the face mask there.
A couple of stags with their antlers locked. Busting backs. Oh, they've been doing it. Averaging over 214 yards a game rushing since Dickerson's been starting.
Time of possession in the last 2 games for the Colts rather astounding too. 36-36 to 23-24 for opponents. And that's the running of those 2 guys.
3rd and just over a yard. Dickerson, the eye back, he gets the ball, and Eric Dickerson thunders ahead. It'll be very close as the linesmen come in to mark it. He got it by the nose of the ball.
This is a real shoving match. Andre Tippett, 56, gets some penetration and stops 34 right in his tracks. George Wansley, Brent Williams, Kenneth Sims, Steve Nelson finally on the stop, close enough to measure.
Looks like they might be inches short.
There's Ron Meyer, the head coach. Certainly familiar with this field, although generally from the other side.
Took over a team last year, as all the Colt fans know, was 0-13 when he took it over, and since then they've won 8 and lost 4. 3 straight last year, atop the division this year.
And I think at this point, to try to get your ball club in the game, you got to go for it, and he's going.
You got it.
I mean, you got the NFL's leading rusher 3 of the last 4 years. I mean, this is fellas, it's up to you play. You want to get in this game? We get in it on this play.
Dickerson's big play, the one he's gotten most of his yardage on in his career, is the same as his number, 29. A 29 toss with a pitch back to him. Joel Patton's now in the game as an extra blocker for the Indianapolis Colts. End up to the up back, and I don't know.
George Wansley, not even close, Don.
They're looking for a read on Dickerson, but the Patriots shot the gaps and made the stick, and on 4th down, they think they're going to take over, but we'll have to see the change come out.
Well, the Colts defense is coming on the field. It depends on the mark. Certainly no question about that. Sometimes coaches, yes, sir, they're not even going to measure. They say Indianapolis ball. Hogaboom says, wait a minute, I want a measurement. I want a measurement. Look at the humanity down there. Kind of tricked themselves. They used Eric Dickerson as a decoy. Spread him out wide. It did not work, and Wansley was stopped by Kenneth Sims, Andre Tippett, Steve Nelson. Games can turn on a play like that. The momentum jumps to the side of the Colts if they make it, stays on the side of the Patriots if they don't. No, sir.
Started to swing Eric Dickerson out, waiting for the linebackers to start to flow with him, and then the quick give to Wansley, but the Patriots stayed and shot gaps and made the knockdown on 4th down. So the New England Patriots, with a 7-0 lead, take over the ball with 5:48 to play in the 1st half. Andre Tippett, one of the best. He's been All-Pro the last 3 years. Patriots demonstrating the emotion that's been missing in this team today. Ramsey against a blitz, gets it away to Perriman. It's incomplete, but he did well to unload the ball as Johnny Cooks came unimpeded. Perriman swung out rather than stay in on the pass rush.
That was going to be a screen to Perriman, but the pass rush by Johnny Cooks was so quick. Ramsey had no time to set it up. On the Colt defensive corners are playing very, very soft. 7-8 yards off the wide receivers. The hitch is there. The receiver goes down 5 yards and stops, and Ramsey throws it to him. You're going to have the Patriots are going to have to start throwing that hitch to get those cornerbacks up. And watch the top of the screen. You see, the cornerback is almost 10 yards off of Stanley Morgan. See it? Right at the top of the screen.
Sure is. Here on the rollout now is Ramsey, and he's got room to run, but he fires on the run, but to the wrong side, incomplete. Yesterday, talking to Coach Ron Meyer, that's what he was saying, Trump. The one factor that the Patriots have that you have to be aware of every moment is devastating speed. And the receivers and the return people, one missed coverage in 6.
Fryer certainly one of them. Ramsey's a better pocket quarterback than he is a rollout quarterback. There was pressure there by the Indianapolis Colts. Jerome Sally was right up in his face. They would prefer keeping Ramsey right in the pocket. Now 4 wide receivers for New England.
Good to see that Dwayne Bickett's back in the game after being shaken up. He's working as a down lineman at the top of your screen now, number 50 on 3rd and 10. Good pass blocking. Ramsey gets time, and he makes the connection. Down with the ball is Derwin Williams. Or Cedric Jones comes down with the ball at the 35-yard line. Full blitz, picked up, and a 19-yard throw for a first down as Ramsey looks sharp.
Again, very soft coverage by the defensive backs. They are dropping way off, and the Colts are trying to get pressure on Ramsey. Cannot do it. Cedric Jones is way open. He's open and open very, very easily. That's Chris Good on the coverage, not even close.
That's what you're pointing out, Trump. The corners playing so far off. There's a lot of room to cut over the middle underneath them. Running with the ball now and running hard is Tony Collins, and he's down inside the 30-yard line, down to about the 29.
Oh, there was a great crackback block by Irving Fryer. Absolutely shillelaghed the defensive back on that side. And psychologically, New England has total control of this football game. Cliff Odom finally makes the tackle, but Fryer just flattened the safety, and that's why Tony Collins could get around that corner.
Patriots, a team that averages just over 100 yards a game rushing, down near the bottom, 24th in the league. Running well today, and here they go on the run on 2nd down and 5. A straight ahead slant by Collins is close to a first down. He's down to the 26-yard line. As the game clock is down to 4:05 to play in the first half. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Larry Cirillo. Our director, Ted Nathanson. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman, as we're coming to you from Foxborough. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Patriots offense looking much sharper with their 3rd starter of the season in a quarterback, Tom Ramsey. Former co-most valuable player at UCLA in the Pac-10. Ian Elway shared the honor one year. Pitch back Perriman. Whoa, this Pickett is just fabulous. The Colts passed by people like Al Toon and Jerry Rice the year that he came out, and they're happy they did. He's all pro.
This is a predetermined move by Dwayne Bickett. He's there just as the ball is pitched to Perriman. Perriman has no chance to see him. You see Sean Farrell, 62, make a dive at Bickett. Collins again passed him up. Absolutely passed him up. And he's there to make the tackle for a loss of 7 yards.
It's a quick healer, too.
Yes. That guy's as big as a defensive lineman and as active as a defensive back.
7-0 New England.
Soft coverage again on the corners, Don.
4th down. Here's Ramsey on the sprint out. Throwing on the run, and it's stripped away. A fine defensive play. Coming over to make the play look like Freddie Robinson. And also
Chris Good.
Chris Good, 37. Robinson, 47.
Cedric Jones
and
was
so on 4th down, they stop him.
Cedric Jones, the intended receiver. Good saves the first down reception. On the rollout here, Ramsey tries to get it on 4th down to Cedric Jones. Great play by Chris Good to knock it away. I wonder about not trying the field goal there. That would have been a 51-yard attempt with the wind at Tony Franklin's back. Maybe his ankle is worse than we know.
That must be the case. Play fake by Hogaboom. Takes a look. Swings it out. With the ball is his tight end, Pat Beach, and he's got nowhere to go. Did well to get to the line of scrimmage. Game clock now down to 2:35 and running in the 2nd quarter. Halftime will be going to NFL Live. To Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Paul McGuire, Frank DeFord standing by in New York to update everyone on this weekend of play.
Dickerson's dashes today. A lot for a little.
He has 39 yards, 9 carries. Hogaboom against a blitz, and look at Tippett come. Andre Tippett with another sack.
Nobody touched him. That's the second sack of the day for New England, second sack of the day for Tippett, and no one picks him up.
It's his 5th sack, Trump, in the last game and a half. He had 3 last week, 2 today.
Someone misses an assignment somewhere. It looks like Ben Utt. No, it can't be Ben Utt. You've got to account for Andre Tippett on every single play. And that time he was obviously not accounted for. That's just almost killing your quarterback.
Reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Andre Tippett's going to get some ballots the way he's going. Right now, that's backup quarterback Blair Keel. Really having a hard time in the cold.
Worst thing to be when you're in a cold stadium is not playing, just standing around. No fun whatsoever.
San Francisco's come back now to take the lead on Tampa Bay. Cleveland extends its lead over Houston. Pittsburgh holding to a slight lead at Cincinnati, and St. Louis a surprise leader at Philadelphia.
And it's interesting to note that the Indianapolis Colts have not been shut out in the first half so far this season.
Now they've really been producing the points, and defensively everybody hears about their offense with Hogeboom playing well and Dickerson running so well, but their defense is really showing some stars.
Julius Adams in the ball game wearing 85. There he is on the pass rush.
Hogeboom just gets it away, but does well to throw it to Albert Bentley on 3rd and long yardage. 3rd and 18. They get a 9-yard gain. Hogeboom standing in against a big rush, but now with 2 minutes to play, the Colts have to punt the ball into the wind to New England, and the Patriots with a 7-0 lead could come out of this with very good field position. In the recent games, the Colts have dominated time of possession with their running game, but not today. The run has been shut down. The Patriots are leading the way. Down cricket with Bob Trumpy back at Foxborough. Patriot linebacker Andre Tippett. Trump said that they were going to play with a lot of emotion today. He's certainly been doing that.
It's amazing about this New England Patriot football team. For years, considered by a lot of people in the NFL a team of great talent. But their attitude has always been the big question mark. Some days they play wonderfully. Other days they play like they've never played before.
And not even they know which team's going to show up. Here's a punt into the wind, a left footer, and here is Fryer picking it up on the run, and there's that devastating speed deserving Fryer. Almost breaks it. He's down to the 41-yard line of Indianapolis. 30-yard punt and a 24-yard return.
The thing about Irving Fryer, too, is you could tell on that punt return he wanted to catch it. He wanted a return. He was not going to let that ball bounce. Took a chance, but was able to pick it up. Fred Marion, 31, his personal interferer. And then the tackle is finally made by John Holt after a 24-yard return. So the Patriots start with excellent field position. And the cornerbacks now for the Colts got to get up on these receivers. Even if you give them a false read and then drop off. Let's see where the distance is again.
Way off.
At top it's up, and the bottom it's way off.
A lot of speed on the Patriot flanks. Here's a throw. Stanley Morgan has the ball at the 18-yard line. Ramsey continues to look sharp as the rookie from Alabama, Freddie Robinson, was victimized. The free safety, a 23-yard gain. These team wide receivers, Fryer and Morgan, take off like top-fueled dragsters. Tip ball, and as they tried to go to Collins over the middle, Nesby Glasgow, 25, might have gotten a hand on it. Ramsey coming right back at the Colts quickly.
Glasgow playing almost middle linebacker in that set. He's just reading the quarterback's eyes. Broke underneath the receiver's pattern. All he's got to do is catch it. That would have killed the drive. That's a bit of luck for New England. The ball seems to be bouncing their way.
Patriots need this game badly. If they lose it, they'd be 2 games behind the Colts with just 5 to play, and it doesn't look like a wild card's coming out of this division. Counter goes to Tupu. They boo the play here because they think it's conservative, and that's been the knock on the offense as we've discussed. That was a 2nd down carry, and the Patriots use a timeout with 1:18 to play. Franklin could be thinking field goal depending on what they do on 3rd down. Raymond Berry on the left sends in the play call. There's Stanley Morgan coming in with that last reception. Stanley just passed Raymond Berry on the all-time receiving list. Stanley Morgan now number 7.
The stars on those players still active, obviously. 4 wides now for New England.
3rd and 8. Ramsey throws. Man is open, but there's too much on the ball.
Morgan, the intended receiver. And their receivers are getting open all over the field. I think part of the reason is that the Patriot offensive line is doing an outstanding job of pass protection.
Morgan's caught 4 for 87. Ramsey's numbers are impressive.
9 of 17, 147 yards. Now here comes Franklin.
Remember, he missed about a 36-yarder down here.
You better fasten that chin strap. That can be a penalty.
The other end, when he kicked into the wind, now he spins on up with the wind with him, and he's got it. Hit a chip shot and banked it up right down the middle. So with 1:08 showing on the first half clock, the New England Patriots extend their lead to 10-0, and Tony Franklin, who led the National Football League in scoring last week, now getting his act together after having an offseason so far. Jim Kelly just threw to Walter Broughton for 25 yards. The Bills have tied the Jets. Chicago and Detroit Lions 21-10 now. San Francisco holding to a 14-10 lead. Here's Cleveland doing the job at the moment on the Houston Oilers at the Astrodome. Ernest Spiner, a touchdown run, kick no good. Yeager's hit 2 field goals for the Browns. St. Louis conceded little chance of winning at Philadelphia, winning big at the moment. Atlanta, Minnesota are tied. Green Bay leading at Kansas City. What happened to the Chiefs? Playoff team a season ago for the first time in 15 years. Right back looking at the #1 draft choice at the moment. 1 win so far.
I think the strike probably hurt the Kansas City Chiefs more than any team in the NFL. That's a young team learning a new system under Frank Gans. Needed time. You see there without the arm in the sleeve of his jacket with his back to you is Tony Eason. Here's Tom Ramsey with Steve Grogan. Things are going well for New England in this first half, and the Colts are going to have to make some changes in their defensive thinking. They're allowing these wide receivers too much room, way too much room.
NBC statistician Joe Costanza pointing out no turnovers so far. It's a bitterly cold day, temperature about 30, but the wind is strong. Now the spinning kick downfield, and there's a problem in the end zone. Was it touched outside? Well, they take it out of bounds. Impetus of the ball called a muff. It'll come out as a touchback. Terry Wright was back there waiting for it for Indianapolis. Game clock 1:08 to go, so Hogaboom and the Colts offense with a difficult assignment now. A long way to go and into the wind to do it.
I noticed too the Colts choose to start this drive with Albert Bentley. Eric Dickerson on the bench. Bentley the better of the 2 receivers, although the Colt coaches have been surprised at Eric Dickerson's ability to catch the football. Bentley a little more used to the passing set of the Indianapolis Colts, therefore in the ball game.
1st and 10, Colts down 10-0. Hogaboom gets time, but a marker comes in as he swings it out to Albert Bentley. He got to the 26-yard line. Bentley, one of the most underrated players in the league. He's been a winner his whole life. National championship team player at Miami of Florida as a collegian. Averaging in his career, including the U.S. Football League, as he mentioned, over 5 yards a carry. Very tough.
Illegal use of hand, number 64, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's been up.
We've had a remarkably penalty-free game, and so far it's been turnover-free.
Their possessions today rather ineffective for the Indianapolis Colts.
Only time they had a chance at points, the long field goal attempt. That was wide. Hogaboom goes to Bentley. He takes it right at, or to Dickerson, who takes it right at the New England Patriots, and the knockdown is at the 13-yard line.
Timeout by New England once again. Patriots may have another chance. Tip at 56 once again. Kevin Call, 71, tries to get a block on him. It does not work, and Brent Williams and Andre Tippett throw Eric Dickerson to the ground.
Unceremoniously. Tippett really coming on, maybe having his best season. 5 sacks in the last game and a half, 2 today. Patriots out of timeouts, but they're long on points at the moment. They lead 10-0.
What they got to do right now is make sure that New England doesn't have another scoring opportunity this half. With no timeouts left, 54 seconds left. I think if I were the Indianapolis Colts, I'd be very conservative here. Just go in and try to catch my breath at halftime. Do a little chewing on the players and come out the second half and try to start over.
Ogaboom now in his 8th year from Central Michigan, a 5th-round draft choice of the Cowboys back in 1980. He comes into this game with the 3rd highest rating of the AFC passers. And today the Colt offense has been going nowhere after looking impressive early. Tippett makes the stop. He tried to call a timeout. He'd like to get a punt, but they're out of him.
That time Tippett lined up on the near side of the field. Rod Rust doing a great job of moving him all over the defense so that the Colts can't exactly figure out where he is. The clock has stopped for some reason. And there it goes again. I think the Colts are very smart here. Don't take a chance by throwing the ball up. They're into the wind. Just concede the first half to the New England Patriots. That's Rod Rust, the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots.
And Tippett left, Tippett right, Tippett up the middle. They don't know where he's coming from, but they know he's coming. Ogaboom goes back to the run. Eric Dickerson takes it straight ahead again to the 18-yard line, and the game clock's going to wind out. Colts don't want to stop it, deep in their own end with the wind in their face.
This has been an excellent job by the New England Patriots defense in the first half. Shut Dickerson down, have not really allowed receivers that wide open, and put great pressure on the quarterback. Now, can they sustain that for the second half?
Patriots playing like the 11-5 team they were in winning the division a season ago, as they've come alive in the first half, strong on offense and defense, taking a 10-0 lead to halftime. NFL Live halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Thanks very much. NFL Live halftime activities will continue. Please stay with us.
Back at Foxborough, the Patriots holding to a 10-0 lead over the Indianapolis Colts. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. And what's really happened, Trump, the Patriot defense has taken the Indianapolis offense out of the game. What would they do to come back, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, to the New England Patriots defense, they have kept the Colts 0 for 6 in third down conversions. That's why the Colts are not in this ball game. After the first drive, the Colts have gotten nothing anywhere, passing or running. Now it's a test of character. Ron Meyer thinks this Indianapolis Colt team is on the verge. This is really going to test them. They're against a very experienced team in the New England Patriots. Rod Rust has done an outstanding job in stopping the Indianapolis Colts offense. It's rather ironic, too. You remember when Ron Meyer was here, the final reason that Ron Meyer got fired was that he fired Rod Rust. All the players came to the defense of Rod Rust. Patrick Sullivan came back from New Orleans and fired Ron Meyer. This is probably a pretty happy...
That's a tangled web, isn't it?
No, it's a happy locker room for the New England Patriots, certainly in the person of Rod Rust.
Well, at least so far, Patriots look like a playoff team, which, of course, they were a year ago. But the Colts are a team that has shown a lot of stuff in coming back. Their best comeback in recent years was last week against the Dolphins in Florida when they were down 14-0. And as they said in years past, we'd wait to see how badly we get beaten. Last week, we knew we were going to win. It is a team loaded with confidence. You cannot overlook that factor. This is not a club that's going to let down.
You're right. But what they have to do is somehow get Eric Dickerson free. He had one long run in the first half, but basically when it's come down to yards needed by the Colt offense, when they go to Eric Dickerson, he's not gotten it done. And now the Colts, you can see the comparison the previous 3 weeks to today for the two running backs. Just 47 yards rushing for Eric Dickerson, 10 for Albert Bentley. And Don, it's all the credit to Rod Rust and the New England Patriot defense. They are not allowing any real seams or cracks in their defense for Dickerson to cut back. That's been the story of the first half. Now, the Colts have to adjust. They've got to figure something else out if they're going to have any chance to get back in this ball game.
This kickoff is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Tony Franklin ready to hit the ball. Mike Pryor is back deep. Three-man receiving formation. Harriman has enough back also to block for him, as with the wind at his back, Franklin hits the ball hard and finally fielding on the far side. Coming up with it is Mike Pryor, and he comes across and out across to about the 26-yard line.
We'll look at the halftime stats. Once you get a great running back and you begin to rely on the rush, that's what you go to most often. The Colts just 57 yards rushing in the first half. Time of possession in favor of the Patriots, and in the three previous weeks it has been the opposite. The Colts have just dominated their opponent. So now Chip Myers, Ron Meyer, and Hogeboom and Dickerson, this first drive is the most important drive of this half.
And it comes into the wind. Pitch back Dickerson into open field for the moment. He is out to the 30-yard line, a gain of 4 yards on the play. Eric Dickerson's also the most expensive back in football. He makes more money than all his offensive linemen combined.
Lawrence McGrew that time on the tackle from behind the offense. This is a good pulling offensive line. There is nothing wrong with this line. They may be a little cold today. Double pull up and also Solt up through there. Dickerson just can't quite get by McGrew. Good tackle.
Bill Brooks wide to the right at the top of your screen. Favorite target of Hogeboom. Back to the run. Dickerson accelerates. He takes it out across the 32-yard line. On a 2nd down and 7 play, he just got a couple. Knockdown was made by inside linebacker Steve Nelson.
Possessions today for the Colts, other than the first one they had, 3 times 3 plays and out. And the Patriot defensive line standing up there. Dickerson, a cutback player. He looks for just a little seam somewhere and cuts back. Patriots have not allowed him that yet. This is the drive of the game for Indianapolis. They've got to convert here.
This is a very big down then. It's 3rd down and about 5. Hogeboom swings it out, but incomplete at the 26-yard line. Dickerson has the ball come into his wrong side. And so now the Colts with a problem. They have to punt the ball, albeit with one of the best in the game hitting it. But they have to do it into a very strong wind. Flag still straight out. Here in Foxborough, chill factor down around 0.
That makes the Colts now 0 for 7 in 3rd down conversions.
Stark is a terrific athlete. He was the cathlete at Florida State as a collegian. Booms the ball hard downfield but low, and here comes Irving Pryor on the run. Pryor turns the corner. Penalty markers down back at the 37-yard line. Might have been an illegal block by the Patriots. 31-yard punt into the wind by Ron Stark.
I think he motioned for a fair catch and then ran the ball. I really do.
Whatever's fair.
That flag came down immediately. There was no one even close.
Now they're starting to fire and fall back, are the Patriots. That's a good way to catch it and not get hit, though.
Yeah, that'll protect you. Let's see what the call is. Running after a fair catch signal, if you can read his lips. It's 1st down. Let's see if we can pick it up here. Here's Irving Pryor. I think what happened is that Fred Marion, the man up front, signaled for the fair catch. And they called the penalty on.
I didn't see Pryor's hand go up.
No, I think it was Fred Marion that signaled for the fair catch.
Patriots have the ball. 1st down and 10. Ramsey fires out, makes a connection to Tupu's ahead for a 1st down and plenty more as he's across the 45-yard line of New England. Out to the 46, inside backer Cliff Odom knocked him down, but he did it 15 yards downfield. As Ramsey, who threw for over 140 yards in the first half, double what Hogeboom threw for, makes a big hit on his first pass of the second half.
And what the Patriots have decided to do here is take advantage of really a lack of foot speed with Cliff Odom and Barry Krause. Running backs out of the backfield are being locked on by inside linebackers, and those running backs are outrunning them. That pattern's been open all day.
Was really open there and goes for 15. 1st down and 10 New England. Patriots lead early in the 3rd quarter, 7-0. Ramsey lofts the ball down right in the soft spot in the zone and makes the connection to Stanley Morgan for yet another first down. That was good for 16 yards.
Eugene Daniel, the man in coverage, but Ramsey does a great job of getting this ball over the outstretched arms of Dwayne Bickett. Bickett at 6'5", watch his hand go up just over the top of his hand, and a 16-yard completion. That's now 5 for 103 for Stanley Morgan. Now look at those soft corners. They're allowing those wide receivers to get down the field freely, and Ramsey's picking them apart.
To the run go the Patriots on first down, and they're the 35-yard line of Indianapolis. John Hand was on the tackle. Reggie Dupard gets the carry, his first of the second half.
Patriots pretty much having their way. Just about everything they've called has worked today. Grogan, he's calling the plays to Tom Ramsey, and it's working there. Steve Grogan on the sideline.
Raymond Claiborne will not return. Starting cornerback and a Pro Bowl player for New England, out with a knee injury suffered early in the game. Ramsey buys time with a play fake, but then runs out of it in a hurry as he's almost decapitated. Krause came busting through. Johnny Cooks was on the bust in.
Bob Perriman, the fullback, was the guy assigned to Barry Krause. See if we can pick this up. This is the blitz from the inside. You see 50 on the outside on the other side. That's a full blitz. Cooks comes.
He's worried about Bickett, and he should be.
Bam! There comes Barry Krause. Bob Perriman, the fullback out of Michigan, missed him completely. Colts now in a situation where they got to take the chances. They got to go with the blitz. They got to try to get more pressure on Ramsey. The coverage is not there.
Ramsey sets himself now in 3rd and long from the shotgun. 3rd down and 16. Lets her go deep. Unable to run under the ball. Lying down on the far side of the field was Cedric Jones, and so 4th down arises, and the punter Camarillo comes out, and we lost an official on the play.
Looked like he slipped over there.
This is not a tough day to slip on. That field is hard and slippery. He might have got run over.
He's grabbing his ear. Let's see if we can see if he does get hit. Yeah, 39 hits it. Mike Pryor just decks the official over there. Looks like he landed on the side of his head.
But he's a gamer. Hat goes back on. He's ready to go again.
Some of these guys aren't kids.
Bill Brooks is back to return the punt now.
Another thing too, in this hard turf, it hurts everybody to fall, and officials aren't used to falling.
Playing field like a rock. He joined us at the outset. You saw some of the grounds crew chipping away at it with shovels. It's like hitting on concrete.
Side judge 61 is Dick Creed. Seems to be all right. So we'll continue.
Rich Camarillo, another top long-range punter out of the University of Washington, standing back at his 41-yard line. Trying to place it inside the 20, hits it very high, looks to be well done. Brooks comes over, lets it hop, it takes a Patriot hop and goes out of bounds at the 12. So again, the Colts send out their offense with the long field to go. A 32-yard punt, but it was a beauty.
Today's game is brought to you by your nationwide Yugo dealers, bringing you America's most affordable new cars. By Radio Shack, the technology store. And by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this.
Despite the wind and cold, it's been a well-played game. No turnovers for either team and only one penalty aside. Patriots, though, as dominant on the field as they have on the board with a 10-0 lead. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 10:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Colts coming in as a co-leader in the AFC East with the Jets. But the Colts way ahead in tiebreakers. They've beaten the Jets twice this season. That's the first tiebreaker. And the Colts have the best record in the AFC East of the 5 teams, 5-1 against the division.
Changing the referee's microphone. That's why we have the little delay so that we can hear what his calls are on the sideline.
Jets at the moment are tied up with Buffalo in the third quarter. O'Brien threw for the Jet touchdown. Kelly for the Buffalo score. Bears continue to lead over Detroit at halftime. San Francisco's come from behind at Tampa. They take the lead. Cleveland, a powerhouse team, maybe the best in the AFC. Up on Houston big at the Astrodome. Pittsburgh surprising Cincinnati. Biggest surprise of the day, though, at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Cardinals are routing the Philadelphia Eagles 31-3 at halftime.
I wonder what Buddy Ryan had to say at halftime to his Chargers.
That was not expected.
Now they're still fixing the microphone for the referee. Trying to check it out on the sideline. There are 2 mics kept in every stadium.
Our producer Larry Zuello says flag, delay of game on the NFL.
They spend a lot of money on that equipment. It's supposed to work every time.
Eric Dickerson, his whole career has run in good weather. He ran in college at Dallas for SMU. Ran for the Rams on the balmy coast of California, and of course playing conditions are always perfect at the Hoosier Dome, but not today. Chill factor down around 0. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited. Colts have not had a shot at points since an early long field goal attempt went wide. Haven't been near the New England end zone. Ogaboom ready to put it up on first down. Gets time, has an open man, but then gets nearly picked off by veteran linebacker Steve Nelson.
Brooks does a great job to break up the interception. Steve Nelson, you see on his left arm, he has a big brace. His shoulder keeps popping out. That's one of the reasons he's retiring. You see that big support on his left arm. That's to keep his shoulder in socket. Can you imagine that? And he's still playing. Heads up play by Bill Brooks, though. He stopped the interception.
He is the most veteran linebacker in the NFL, Steve Nelson. This is his 13th year.
Ogaboom now 7 of 11 for 74 yards.
2nd and 10. They go to Dickerson. He gets some, but not a lot. Maybe 5 up the middle to about the 17-yard line. Tackle on the play by Lawrence McGrew, one of the inside backers.
5-yard pickup by Dickerson. One of the things I think you have to learn when you have Dickerson in your backfield is allow him some time. And the offensive line of the Colts now must hold their blocks just a little bit longer, and that allows Dickerson to find a seam in that defense to pick up the needed yards. That time Ed Williams and Lawrence McGrew on the tackle. Not good numbers for Dickerson to this point.
Dickerson equips himself to take a pounding. He wears every piece of protective equipment known to man, goggles and flak jackets. This time the throw looked to be on target, but another good defensive play by the Patriots splits the receiver from the ball. Rod McSwain in for injured Raymond Claiborne at right corner, tips it away from Walter Murray.
That's another 3rd down, 0 for 8. Now the Colts are on the day. Excellent coverage by Rod McSwain. Last week he was picked on by the Dallas Cowboys. On that play, he does the job.
Punt. Picking it up and striding on into the end zone for the touchdown. With the ball in the big play is Willie Scott, a backup tight end. And that, early as this third quarter is, could seal the ball game in this playing condition. Willie Scott breaks through, blocks the punt, patiently waits for it to take a room service hop into his hands, and into the end zone he goes.
Don, I don't believe that this was an intentional block. This was not set up. Look at there. First block this season.
First one they blocked, indeed.
I don't believe that was an intentional block. The rest of the Patriots were peeling back for a return. Somebody just missed Willie Scott. He was there to make the block.
Extra point is up and good, so in a sense fitting tribute to the defensive effort of the Patriots, which has controlled this football game. And now that defense puts up the 2nd touchdown of the day for New England. It's 17-0.
This is not an intentional block. 39 is the guy who allows Willie Scott almost free. Mike Pryor. Scott makes the best of it. 17-0 New England.
The Patriot fans are rocking and rolling in the cold at Foxborough as they've taken a 17-0 lead. Their defense scoring the 4th touchdown this season. Now a big special teams hit on Terry Wright, who was splattered inside the 20-yard line. First guy down to get him was Johnny Rembert, a linebacker from Clemson, number 52.
Don, let's go back to the block punt. This is not an intentional block. Willie Scott is right here. Pryor, the man blocking him, doesn't do a good enough job. Now, of course, because Ron Stark is a left-handed punter, you see him step that way, right into the hands of Willie Scott. He waits for it to bounce up waist high. No chance whatsoever here, and this is not designed. This is an individual play by Willie Scott.
Motion looked like Pat Beach left early, the tight end. As Hogeboom is thrown down back inside the 10-yard line.
Colts coming apart here, Don.
That'll be a sack, and the play will go if it was Indianapolis offside.
Colts are coming apart here. This is a young team. That happens. Tippett on Bennett. Runs right over Bennett. That's a little too much activity, I do believe. That's his 3rd sack of the day. They're going to take the sack as opposed to the penalty.
Andre Tippett playing with fury with 6 sacks in the last 2 games. Had 3 against the Cowboys, has 3 today with a long way to go. And Hogeboom's got to throw all day now. Now they're broken up play at the 15-yard line with 8:57 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Now, let me make another point. I do believe the Colts are taking a heck of a chance. Nelson that time right there to break up the reception. But the Colts are not blocking Andre Tippett all the time with an offensive lineman. That time Eric Dickerson was trying to block Andre Tippett, and that's an invitation for disaster. He was right in Hogeboom's face once again. One of the few players you can find playing in the NFL who can dominate a game when he wants to, like Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants.
And he has dominated Andre Tippett.
Blitzing again, too.
3rd and long yardage. Barris puts the rush on. Here's a throw, and the ball is almost picked off of the 29-yard line. Lawrence McGrew had a hand on it. One of the safeties, Fred Marion, also came up. Matt Bouza was trying to get it. And again, the Patriot defense overwhelms the Indianapolis offense and gets a standing ovation.
Chris Hinton was blocking on Andre Tippett. Called for holding. They declined the penalty. This is almost intercepted. Fred McGrew up front. Fred Marion behind.
Dangerous time for Ron Stark. He hits it from his goal line, but not very far. Picked up by Irving Fryer. Dances by 1 tackler, then is cut down at the 43-yard line. 33-yard punt, no return. Jeff Lighting made the tackle for the Colts. So the Patriot offense is ready to go again in a moment. Today, the Patriots have looked like the team that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Is there any way, Trump, for the Colts to get out of this thing?
I think the only way the Colts can get back in this game is if the New England Patriots let them. A turnover, a couple of dumb plays. Without that, I don't think the Colts have any chance of getting back in this game whatsoever.
The Patriots start again with good field position. Rolling out, looking to gun it on the run, but now unable to is Tom Ramsey, who has played a terrific game. Raymond Berry, remember Trump telling us in Chicago a couple of years ago that Ramsey had the potential to be a top NFL player. Came in here playing behind Eason, part of that quarterback class of '83, and behind the veteran Grogan. Ramsey came in last week, did very well against the Cowboys. And today he's been really terrific, playing in the wind, which he's used to, and which Hogeboom is not.
If the Patriots had won the game last weekend against Dallas, and they certainly stood a chance to with about 2 minutes to go in regulation, Ramsey would have been the hero. He was not afforded that opportunity because of Herschel Walker's 60-yard run in overtime.
field throw. Morgan was looking back in time as the big rush was on, and Ramsey never saw that incompletion. He was flat on his back.
Take you back a few years ago. He was playing with the UCLA Bruins in the Rose Bowl. From there, he went to the U.S. Football League. He was replaced with the Los Angeles Express by one Steve Young.
He was a co-MVP of that Rose Bowl the day that the Bruins of UCLA defeated Michigan 24-14. Of course, this year on New Year's Day in the Rose Bowl, it'll be Michigan State from the Big Ten and Southern California's Trojans, an upset winner over the Bruins yesterday, representing the Pac-10. Dropping is Ramsey. This time he's high, and now the Colt defense looks strong, and it's 3 downs and out for the New England offense, and the Colts will get it back, but deep in their own end again into the wind, but soon they'll be going with the wind.
Don, now the Colts have to think about trying to block a punt to shorten the field. That's one thing that has really hurt the Indianapolis Colts today. Their field position to start drives has been absolutely awful all day long. That's one of the things that I think that has helped the New England Patriots defense. When you're sitting at your own 15 to 20 yard line and looking at 80 yards to get in the end zone, very discouraging position to be in.
Bill Brooks is back. Camarillo hits the ball. High knuckleball. Brooks fair catches at the last moment, and the ball will be at the 15-yard line of Indianapolis. The worst the Colts can do with a loss today is still share the division lead and still have a big advantage in tiebreakers.
Now here's a point, Don. He's got to have the opportunity to catch this ball. Even if it bounces 5 yards away, he has the opportunity to go get it. Brooks does make the catch, and the Colts start 85 yards away from the New England end zone. And those numbers today very telling, because last week Eric Dickerson rushed for 154 yards himself.
He's been closed up. He's the deep back now, standing way back, gets the running start and gets the ball, and Dickerson again pays as he gets just to the 17-yard line. Game clock down to 8:10 to play in the third quarter. 17-0 New England.
Garen Ferris that time on the tackle, and once again this time 56 Andre Tippett to this side of the line of scrimmage. There's 83 Sherwin, and you see the way Tippett's just holding his ground. He does not want to create a crack in that defense. Steve Nelson helps out, number 57. This defense has played spectacular. Now once again Tippett on the opposite side of where he normally lines up.
One drive last week against Miami. The Colts had the ball for 97 yards, 19 plays, 8.5 minutes. They have to get the ball way downfield again. This time the throw to Brooks is good for a first down.
Tippett's everywhere. He made the tackle on that play. 14-yard pickup.
Buffalo now taking a 14-7 lead over the Jets. We conceivably could have a 4-way tie at day's end in the AFC East.
Just as it was 2 weeks ago.
Even a 5-way, depending on what Miami does. Everybody tied for first or last. Tiebreakers are going to be important in this division.
Cleveland shutting out Houston 26-0 in the Astrodome.
Dickerson on first down. Piston driving his legs. Big and rangy, but he's got great ability to take on tacklers and force them back. He goes for 7 on a first down carry. Patriot defenders have been playing way back in zone defense. It's awfully tough to throw long against them, particularly with the wind that's gusting into the face of Hogaboom in the offense.
You can see Dickerson read that offensive line, look for just a little gap in that defense. For the most part, New England has done a great job of not allowing that gap to open.
It's a long run just to the line of scrimmage for Dickerson from where he's positioned out to the 41-yard line.
One of the reasons that you do that with great running backs is to give them a good vision of the offensive line. He reads hats from back there. You try to get your offensive lineman to just block whoever's in front of you, and you just let him read the spot. Now the Patriot defense standing their ground, not really trying to make a lot of penetration in most instances, just standing their ground to cut down on the options by Eric Dickerson, and it's worked.
Good play fake, buys time for Hogaboom. A throw up the middle is intercepted at the 43-yard line. Not done yet. Running, no, they're going to rule that he's down. Jim Bowman made the pickoff, and they rule him down at the 43-yard line. So the first turnover of the day is Hogaboom drills one into the wind, and one of the safeties is right there to pick it off for New England with 6:11 to go, third quarter.
Ball was intended for Matt Booza. It's a crossing pattern, and Jim Bowman standing right there out earlier with a concussion. You don't need a memory to catch that one. It looked like Booza tripped on this hard surface.
And it's interesting, Trump, there's two players in this game from Central Michigan, Hogaboom, who threw it, and the man who intercepted the ball, Jim Bowman.
There's Hogaboom on the sideline. It has not gone well for the Colts at all today. No part of the game.
They didn't play together there. Bowman came after Hogaboom. Here's a handoff, and Dupard going wide. Doesn't get much. Colt defender still attacking with a vengeance now as the game clock is down to 6 minutes to play in the third quarter.
And as I said earlier, the only way the Colts can get back in this ball game is if the New England Patriots let them back in the ball game, and that's with a turnover, a strange play. Flutie signaling the plays in on the right, Grogan on the left. He's calling them. That one-game experiment, Raymond Berry calling the plays, happened in the Hoosier Dome. That's all it was. Experiment.
Goes out to Lynn Dawson, the tight end. Yeah, Raymond said he got tired of that fast. That was the first game after the strike.
So did everybody else get tired of that, too, apparently.
Yeah, that's his first interception in now 5 games. We're 4.5 games without one. Colts will be waiting for that wind at their back in the fourth quarter. It's picking up in gusts. The temperature has dropped. Chill factor way down. A freezing cold day in New England.
They need more than one quarter with the wind at their back.
Ramsey's done well with the wind and against it. The run he goes, and there's nothing there. The Colts stuff the run. So again, on consecutive possessions, it's 3 downs and out for the New England offense.
Excellent job by Dwayne Bickett coming down the line of scrimmage behind the play. He's there to assist on the tackle. Dupard tries to make the first down. No chance whatsoever. Donnell Thompson stands him up. Dwayne Bickett gets him to the ground. Now, the last time New England punted, the Colts did not try to block it. They got to come up with a big play like that. You got to try something at least. New England has all their players inside. They're looking for a block here.
Seen 2 guys today get my vote for All-Pro. Tippett of the Patriots, Bickett of the Colts. High hit downfield on the punt. Bill Brooks lets it go in. It comes out to the 20. Now with 4:38 to play in the third quarter, the Colt offense comes out. Again, the long field to go. They're 80 yards away. Today it's a doubleheader day on NBC Sports. Most of you will see the San Diego Chargers go up to the Kingdome to battle one of the toughest teams at home in the league, the Seattle Seahawks. Others will see the Broncos and the Raiders hook up at Los Angeles. And then Thanksgiving Day, the holiday menu begins on NBC Sports with a matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. We'll be on live with NFL Live at 12. Off to Dickerson. They try to strip him of the ball and do not. Penalty marker comes in after the play. Dickerson, while leading the National Football League in rushing again last season, also led in fumbles. He hasn't coughed it up today.
That's a holding call against the Colts after last week's performance.
Holding number 66 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Ron Sold, after last week's performance in Miami, the manner in which they manhandled the Miami Dolphins with 457 yards of offense. Tough on these kids. They came in here with a great deal of confidence, feeling that they were on the verge of being a playoff contender. The thing that Ron Meyer has to do after this ball game is not let them get too far down.
I don't think they will. I think this is a terrific young team. They're having a bad day.
Fumble.
Picked up by the Patriots and down to the 19-yard line. Bowman again. He intercepted the last time he was on the field. Now he has a fumble pop right in his hands.
Eric Dickerson had the ball stripped from his hands, and Ron Meyer saying, what else can happen here? And you can see that Eric Dickerson does not like the cold. He's got the head thing on, the glasses, the gloves. It has not worked today at all. Let's see if we can see who strips the ball. He gets it deep, and he kind of cuts up through, and then somebody sticks their arm out. Steve Nelson, 57. He strips the ball away. You just mentioned that he led the league in fumbles last year.
Nothing for Collins, and again it's Pickett. You can keep talking superlatives about Tippett and Pickett. Well, it looks like he's ready to, like Barney Oldfield, ready to go up in a prop plane. Every protective device known to man, and he needs all of it. He runs with the ball more than anybody in pro football.
Kind of looked like a member of the ski patrol there. There's Steve Nelson.
He seems to like it. He's from North Dakota. Motion in the Patriot offense. It'll come back. No free play. Clock stops with 3:33 to go in the third quarter.
That was Stanley Morgan.
17-0 New England.
Well, New England has not made many mistakes today.
Illegal motion, 3 different offensive plays.
Okay, we'll settle for that.
Take your pick.
We got Mosi Tatupu, we got Lynn Dawson, and we also got Stanley Morgan. There's Raymond Claiborne on the sideline with the hooded sweatshirt. He's on crutches. He had a knee injury. Standing next to him in the red jacket is Steve Moore. Right there in front with the sunglasses on. The diagnosis is, we're not sure, but it is a knee injury.
Buffalo has now extended its lead over the Jets to 17-7, so the other co-leader in the AFC East is being defeated today also. That's only in the third quarter, as is this. Ramsey on third down, and he can't make the connection. John Holt was covering. Tony Collins was the intended receiver. As that Buffalo Jets score, as Scott Norwood just hit a field goal. Bears continue in command. Cleveland laying waste to Houston in the battle of the co-leaders in the AFC Central, and they're playing at the Astrodome. They both went into that 6-3. Field goal attempt. It'll be a 37-yarder coming up for Tony Franklin, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Wind at his back. Ball on the way. Plenty far, but he's wide left. So the Colts come back out on offense with 3:24 to play, and despite a 17-0 lead, they boo Tony Franklin.
Last year, NFL's leading scorer, not having a particularly good year this year. But when you're up 17-0, there's still a lot of time left in this football game, but there has to be an absolute miracle for the Colts to get back in it.
First down and 10. They go to Eric Dickerson, and he's out to the 19-yard line. Did not make the line of scrimmage. Nelson shot through. He's going to retire after this season. One of the most popular Patriots in the history of the franchise. Strong reports that this franchise will be sold in the next couple of weeks.
I think it's more than strong reports. I think the deal is finalized.
$63 million. Group partially based in Philadelphia, and also a wealthy young Bostonian, all putting their cash together to buy it from the Sullivans.
There's Tippett again.
Ogaboom lofts it downfield. Well done. Booza comes over, makes the play. It's a first down for Indianapolis. 23-yard gain on the play.
Booza's first catch of the afternoon. The Patriots continue to put as much pressure as they possibly can. And this time, Eric Dickerson does a pretty good job on Andre Tippett.
Very good.
He holds him up. Ernest Gibson was the man in coverage. But Matt Booza does make the catch, a 23-yard gain.
His first catch of the day, his 23rd of the season. He's been in the end zone 3 times. Out cannon, intercepted. That's going in. Down the field is Ronnie Lepet. And the Patriot defense scores its second touchdown of the day, a 43-yard return.
Ball should have never been thrown. Gary Hogeboom locked onto that receiver, Matt Bouza. The tight end and the wide receiver ran into each other. Make it 45 yards. Official, see, look what happens. Tim Sherwin, 83, Bouza, 85, right next to each other. Lepette's the one that's got staring right into the eyes of Gary Hogeboom. And it's another easy 6 points for New England. A block punt for a touchdown and now an interception for a touchdown.
Franklin hits the extra point. And what has been a commanding lead for the Patriots turns into a rout. It's 24-0. Rod Rust has to be a proud and happy man now, defensive coordinator for the Patriots. As you pointed out, Trump, it was his firing by Ron Meyer that precipitated Ron Meyer's own firing here at New England.
Probably the most popular coach on the team.
24-0 now as the defense of the Patriots has scored 2 touchdowns. Here's Terry Wright running it back for the Colts. And he's out to the Indianapolis 20. But the good news for the Colts, well, as we mentioned, the worst they can do is come out of this tied for first in their division, is that they only have one more cold weather game. They have to play at Cleveland on December 6th. They have Houston at home next week in the Hoosier Dome. They have Buffalo at home in the Hoosier Dome. They play at San Diego. And then they play Tampa Bay at home. So scheduling is with the Colts. And despite a disappointing performance for the Colts and their fans today, they could be the team to beat in the AFC East when it's over.
Absolutely. That's why I said Ron Meyer, the number one thing he has to do is make sure his team does not get too down from this loss.
Their defense is playing like they're winning. Eric Dickerson breaks a tackle, and Eric Dickerson gets ahead for a first down, finding a way somehow. He was the number 2 player picked in that famed draft of '83. John Elway went to the then Baltimore Colts. Refused to play there, as you know, was traded to Denver. Dickerson was the second choice. The third choice was another running back, Kurt Warner.
Not a bad draft. 14 yards on that pickup. I do think Ron Meyer is keeping Eric Dickerson in the ball game to get him work, to get him more used to the offense. He's going to win a lot of games for him before his career in Indianapolis is over.
As he told us yesterday, the game plan when you have Dickerson is keep him fresh for the fourth quarter, because that's when he can really control the game. Dickerson running harder as the game wears on, gets out to the 45-yard line, knocked down by Lawrence McGrew. New England winning today, presumably will go to 5-4, barring an extraordinary comeback by Indianapolis. Buffalo leading 17-7 over the Jets. Miami plays at Dallas later. Could be right back to square one with 5 games to play.
4 teams, 5-5 records.
5 teams. Here is a handoff, and with the ball it goes Eric Dickerson, and he's down to the 47-yard line, knocked down by safety Fred Marion. Indianapolis would go to 5-2 in the division. That's a very, very important factor.
We said that this New England team was on the brink, either elimination or back in it. And they're now 3, and they would be 3-2 with the win. Dickerson now over 100 yards, 23 carries, 105 yards.
Can't tell if Coach Barry's winning or losing. Look at him on the sideline. He has to be very pleased, though, and now running with the ball and losing his footing at the 48-yard line is George Wansley. For that 4th down play earlier. Colts elected to go for it in the first half.
Toby Williams that time on the tackle.
Wansley was the carrier and was knocked down short.
He's not happy about coming right back out of the ball game either. He wants some playing time, but with Albert Bentley and with Eric Dickerson, there's going to be a running back sit somewhere, and that's George Wansley.
Dickerson, change of pace moves, and then he is stood up on a driving tackle. A shoulder pad popped into his face mask by Ed Williams, who is starting for the injured Don Blackman, one of the best players in the league as an outside backer, but he's done for this season with a neck injury.
Maybe for his career.
He will undergo surgery in the offseason, Don Blackman. That'll be the last play of the 3rd quarter, and the Colts are delighted about that because they'll have the wind at their back for the final 15 minutes End of the third quarter with the score 24-0 New England. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Ready now to start the fourth quarter. The Colts have a third down coming up, and they're 0 for 8 on third down conversion.
That's been the biggest story of the game for their offense. They cannot sustain a drive because of the lack of third down conversions.
Third down, they need 9. Hogaboom with a drop to his 45. Loops it over the middle to Eric Dickerson on the run. He's going to get the first down and get out of bounds at the 35-yard line. New England defense has been allowing over 20 points a game this season. Have allowed none so far today against a divisional leader.
You'll see Eric Dickerson swing out of the backfield. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And to watch this foot speed as he pulls away from Lawrence McGrew. First third down conversion by the Colts today, and it's a little late.
Straight ahead, down to the 33. Dickerson has an amazing running style, very long-legged. It almost looks like he's going half speed, but he has such a long stride. He's run the 109.4 in high school. Look at the numbers, almost mirror images of each other. Time of possession exactly, but the block punt and the interception returned by Ronnie Lepet, that's the major difference. Coach Meyer can handle his cold. He's the only hatless man out there. Here's a long throw downfield, and it's picked off. But there was a marker that came in. Or was? Yeah, there was. Ernest Gibson, the man with the interception. Now, who's it going to be against? Billy Brooks was the intended receiver. Did they call it on Indianapolis? No, it's against Indianapolis. It's against Indianapolis. The interception will stand.
The defender was playing the football. No foul.
No foul. No foul. They pick up the flag, so the interception stands. Watch the end of this. When Gibson turns around and looks, then the incidental contact is allowed. Now, where do they mark this ball? That should come out to the 20. It does. When your momentum carries you into the end zone, it comes back out to the 20. And look at the turnovers today. Last week, the Colts got 5 turnovers from Miami. Today, they give up 4. So they started out the game today plus 11 in the turnovers. And now down to plus 7. And there's Gary Hogaboom. Not a good day.
Second in the NFL with a plus 11. Let's see where they were last year.
Down to plus 7 now because of those 4 turnovers.
They led the league forcing 31 takeaways, but they've had none today. Patriots will be running the ball now with a 24-0 lead, looking to work the clock, which is down to 14 minutes to go. They lead 24-0.
Donnell Thompson that time on the tackle. Jack Trudeau is warming up on the sideline for the Colts. Now, if there is one plus for the Colts to build on for next week, it's the front 7 of the Indianapolis Colts have played very, very well. The defensive line and linebackers have not allowed the New England Patriots to just roam through their defense. Coverage hasn't been that good. But you can't really fault these guys we're looking at here. They've done their job.
Second and 7 carry. Possession football, both arms on the ball. Bob Perriman takes it out to the 25-yard line.
John Hand that time on the tackle. If the season ends tomorrow, I think you know the priority that the Indianapolis Colts have in the draft. And that is defensive back. But of course, to get Eric Dickerson, they don't have that first-round draft pick. I don't even think they have a second-round draft pick.
That was one of the most expensive purchases in football history. Cost him a #1 draft choice, 2 number 2s, one of the great linebackers, Cornelius Bennett, and a running back. But I think it's all worth it, and so far it has been until today with the Patriots dominating. And now on a third down run, they get the 5 needed, actually got 6. So they keep the drive alive and keep the clock moving.
Defensive back John Holt had to make the tackle. Perriman goes out. How do you figure this New England football team?
They can't, so I don't know how we can. They're the first to admit it.
They played well last week against the Dallas Cowboys. But the one thing New England never wants to do is get into overtime. They're now 0-9 in overtime. And somehow they allowed the Dallas Cowboys to come back and slip off the hook and win that game.
Another handoff, first back through. A man who is famed for not fumbling. Mosey Tutupu takes it. He took a shot in the back from his own guy, Dupard, who was trying to knock a blocker off.
You know, the amazing thing about Tutupu, not only carries the ball, but he's on all special teams. He's very seldom out of the lineup as you watch Jack Trudeau warm up on the sideline. Apparently, Gary Hogaboom's day is over.
He spent some cold days in Champaign, Illinois, as Trudeau, quarterback in the Illini. Second down and about 3 now for the Patriots, who have a 24-0 lead with 11:25 to play in the game. Back to the run. Right after defense goes rookie fullback Bob Perriman. He got 7. First down, New England. So they keep the chain markers moving and the clock running.
Went out for one play to put his shoe back on. Comes back in. These two young running backs, Perriman and Dupard, done a pretty darn good job today. So now suddenly there's some depth in that running back spot for New England, something that they've needed. And Craig James got hurt.
Perriman, there's Ron Meyer. I don't know how he does it in that cold. He's got to be anguishing both from the weather and the performance, as the Patriots, his former team, are dominating today. Barry Krause makes the stop, but it's another 7-yard gain. Buffalo continues to lead the Jets in the 4th quarter. Bears and San Francisco look like 2 sure playoff teams winning again. Cleveland has to go to the top of the class in the AFC after this performance against the division co-leader at Houston. Minnesota having a hard time with Atlanta. Green Bay, everything's not up to date in Kansas City. That franchise is in trouble right now. We'll go to 1-9. Another power run by Bob Perriman. Another first down for the Patriots.
One of the biggest problems that the Patriots have had throughout this season is rushing yardage. And throughout this day, Perriman exhorting the crowd, don't you people know when to celebrate? And the one thing that has helped the New England Patriots so much today is their rushing yardage. Look at the first downs, 122 yards rushing coming into this ball game. They've been averaging 101. They've also been averaging 3 rushing first downs per game.
You can call the plays at home right back to the first back through. They're going to the fullback time after time, both arms on the ball, and Bob Perriman cuts down to the Indianapolis 40. The Patriots will be at home again next week to play an Eagle team that should be in ill humor, getting beaten by St. Louis today.
I think everyone expected the Colts to have a big day rushing here. It has not happened. Raymond Berry in the background, Steve Grogan in front calling the plays. Raymond is certainly an administrator, isn't he?
Not a dominating presence, but he's had this team in the Super Bowl shortly after he got here. Second down run with 7 needed, gets nowhere. But the clock continues to tick down. 8:25 to play. 24-0 New England. Buffalo upsetting the Jets. Could be a 5-way tie again at night's end after the Dolphins, if they do win, at Miami. Eric Dickerson set himself up for that big performance last week from at Miami. Went to a seafood restaurant the night before the game and dined on dolphin.
Dolphins. Perriman now 9 carries, 72 yards. Apparently they don't serve dolphin in Boston, or I should say Providence. That's where the Colts stayed last night.
They do. It didn't work. Third down run. Dupard takes it at the Colts and gets to the 38. It'll bring up 4th down. Sellout crowd staying put, watching the first strong performance by this Patriot team in some time. Camarillo in to punt the ball as the Patriots go into formation at their leisure, using all the time allotted them by the 30-second clock.
Next week the Colts play Houston, and they play it in the Hoosier Dome.
Houston also getting blown out today.
33-7. They just scored an 83-yard touchdown from Moon to Ernest Gibbons.
4 more of those are in business. Brooks lets it happen. Bill Brooks picks it up. Knocked down inside his 15-yard line. So again, the Colt offense has a load of field to cover to get in the end zone. They've not scored a point today. Jack Trudeau will run the offense in a moment.
Today's game is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By IBM and the IBM Personal System 2, the next generation in personal computing. And by American Airlines, something special in the air.
With Bob Trumpy, Don Crickey back at Foxborough. Not a good day to be sitting on the bench. Big linebacker Johnny Cook's trying to ward off the wind. It's only gotten stronger. Jack Trudeau in a quarterback. Here's his first throw of the day. It's a hookup with Bill Brooks, who's out of bounds at the 30-yard line. What a player he is. 65 balls he caught as a rookie 4th-round draft choice. Whereas the highly regarded Walter Murray, who earned over $400,000 in salary and bonuses his first year, caught 2.
Those are expensive catches. Jack Trudeau now in the ball game.
You'd like to have some of those $200,000 catches, wouldn't you?
Oh, give me just one. I'll hang on to it.
Trudeau, another big strong armor, takes a look and drills a strike. Booza has the ball as the Colts move nicely down the field, but there's a yellow flag at the 35.
Don, you can see that the Colts are already going to the 2-minute offense mindset.
I would think so. Down 24-0.
Absolutely. That's against New England. If it's during the play, you decline the penalty and take the reception. And you can see the receivers trying to get out of bounds. And also, the New England Patriots are playing the prevent defense.
Illegal use of the hand. Number 23 defense. Penalty decline. First down.
That's Rod McSwain. New England is going to be very, very deep here in coverage. They're not going to try anything tricky. You don't want any Indianapolis receiver to get deeper than you are. You see the bump and run up front. And there are 2 safeties 15 yards off the football.
Trudeau's played well this year in limited playing time. Comes in with a quarterback rating of 88. Throwing a catch again. Oh, a drop ball. Bentley or Eric was looking upfield, and the linebacker Rembert coming across. Dickerson drops the ball, and it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Colts at their 45-yard line.
Fans getting on in here.
A lot of speculation, Trump, that there could be another NFL team in Baltimore. I hear a lot of positive reports about that city getting a franchise.
Really?
Yep.
You mean before expansion?
I think they could get a team. I think they're a prime candidate for expansion if they don't get a team before that.
Where are they going to play?
Bill Bidwell likes Baltimore.
Where are they going to play?
In a new stadium.
Dickerson again is going to dive up the middle. And you can see the Colts go right back to the line of scrimmage.
Colts have long been a storied part of the National Football League. Hall of Fame is filled with ex-Colts.
One of them standing on the other side. Raymond Berry.
Trudeau buys time and makes a good throw down. Boy, he's got a gun.
Walter Murray. Look at this.
That kind of a day on offense.
That was in the first half. That was their best half. Because in the second half, interception, fumble, interception. That's another thing, too, that's really hurt them a great deal. Their average start of a drive.
Could be markers there. Patriots were running in when the play was in motion. Pat Beach, the tight end, makes the reception. He's down close to the 30-yard line, down to the 31. Gets out of bounds. Just top the clock with 5:09 to play.
I don't see a flag, so there were 10 men on the field.
Yeah,
Mike Ruth ran on the field at the last second as a nose tackle. Just activated this week.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Trudeau since he's been in there.
Standing also all day long and then comes in here and throws the ball very well. Getting the signals once again from Chip Myers from the sideline. 2 plays will be called in the huddle, and then you generally have an automatic 3rd play just to try to conserve as much time as you can. Blitz.
Play ball.
No, pass.
They ruled his arm was forward, so it's an incomplete pass. He was moving his arm forward. Lawrence McGrew, a huge linebacker from Southern California, came in unblocked and put a shoulder to the small of the back of Jack Trudeau as he just started to bring his arm forward.
And you see Tippett, he's on this side. McGrew is on the other side. To even bring Gibson 43. McGrew right between the shoulder blades, goes as an incomplete pass. And Trudeau is up. Trudeau is up.
10 years ago, these Colts were the power of the AFC East, winning 3 straight divisional titles. Mark Chabot, their coach, and Burt Jones, their quarterback. Dickerson breaks it. He also, in addition to all his other attributes, Trump, might have the best straight arm in football. He'll put people flat on the field.
6'3", 217 pounds. And this has been the problem for Eric Dickerson and the Indianapolis Colts. Majority of his carries less than 4 yards. 2 carries over 15, 117 yards. But the long carries came at the beginning of the game, the first drive. From that point on, New England shut him down.
Not a bad day, though. 117, 28 carries, 117 yards, but all of it too little, much too late, as we're down to 4:54 to play, and the Colts continue to trail the Patriots 24-0.
They're going to stoppage of play here. The umpire was going to the sideline. He's the guy in communication with the guy upstairs, and it looks like he's going to the phone. Over here on the Colts bench, he's talking on the phone on the left 46. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's talking to the people upstairs.
NBC's chief statistician Joe Costanza pointing out that Eric Dickerson has averaged 111 yards a game over his career.
I don't know what the problem is, but the umpire was over there talking to the replay guy upstairs. Back on the field.
We'll continue playing.
Just had a communications check, we're told.
Oh, really? Okay.
Colts on 1st and 10, looking to get points for the first time today. We're in the 4th quarter. They're down 24-0, a little bit high, but there's a marker coming in.
That's on Gibson. Contact with the tight end. Matt Boozer was the intended receiver. That's going to be against Gibson. That was past the 5-yard chuck rule. Trudeau now 4 of 6 for 52 yards. Patriots showed blitz.
Illegal contact. Number 43 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, that was Ernest Gibson, and he hit Matt Boozer past the 5-yard chuck area.
First down and 10 for Jack Trudeau, and the Indianapolis offense swing pass to Dickerson. Here's a penalty marker down. We might call an illegal block on Bill Brooks.
And I'll tell you, that was thrown more towards the offensive line.
Yeah, there might be
I saw the same thing you did. That's a 13-yard pickup. I saw the same thing you did. Holding, I think that's on 71, Kevin Call, who was blocking Andre Tippett. Or should I say, trying to block Andre Tippett.
There's a full load to block.
Dickerson makes the reception, but I believe this penalty is going to be on 71.
Number 66 there, Ron Sold, is a Pro Bowl quality. The play he's
71 offense. Penalty accepted.
demonstrated this year. Kevin Call, a 4th-year tackle from Colorado State, called for the hold. Rest of the offensive line strong indeed, with Hinton at left tackle, Ott at left guard, and Ray Donaldson at center.
You can see in the top right there is the hold. Kevin Call on Andre Tippett. He has been all over the field everywhere today. His best game this year.
Too much for Walter Murray as they try the end zone, and the game clock stops at 4:36 to play. Jack Trudeau was a second-round draft choice 2 years ago. As we again check the scoreboard, nothing much changing. Buffalo continues to lead the favored Jets into the fourth quarter. Cleveland doing a number at Houston, and Cincinnati, your old team, Mr. Trumpy, they aren't doing well.
Not at all. And that's an understatement.
There's a report that Mike Gottfried of the University of Pittsburgh was a candidate if Sam White should leave.
That was denied by Mike Gottfried. I'm sure his name will reemerge this week.
Nice throw and catch as Murray goes high, comes down with the ball inside the 15-yard line. 17-yard gain, and the Colts have their deepest penetration of this day.
Ronnie Lefette and Fred Marion there on the coverage. Again, the Colts go right to the line of scrimmage. This is another third down, but this is certainly a two-down area.
Trudeau looks. Sees good coverage on Booza and throws it high and away. Not to risk another interception. Patriot defense has scored 2 of their 3 touchdowns today. One on a block punt and subsequent recovery by Willie Scott. Another by an interception and a return of 43 yards by cornerback Ronnie Lefette.
A score here by the Colts give them something to build on next week against Houston. That's what Ron Meyer and his staff is trying to do. Just get something positive out of this football game. Avoiding the shutout would be a big lift to this team with the way they've been manhandled today by New England. Patriots, they want to preserve that shutout. It's been a while for them.
Trudeau fires hard, and the ball is tipped away. Brooks went for the ball, and Rod McSwain, who's come in to replace the injured Raymond Claiborne, knocked the ball away in the end zone.
There's the defensive coordinator, Rod Rust. He's got to be absolutely overjoyed. He's patting the helmet of Steve Nelson. His team has played very, very well today.
Eric, Rams plus Colts equal Bills, but they spell the S with a dollar sign. I don't think the big guy's thinking about his money right now. It's sauna. Not the right idea. 3:55 to play. So the Patriots that far away from regaining a share of first in the AFC East.
Perriman goes to the sideline. When he ran that last play right at the end of it, it looked like Byron Darby rolled right up on his ankle. He was assisted to the sideline, will be attended to by the doctors. We'll try to give you a shot of it here in a minute. That last timeout, not charged to Indianapolis. It was an injury timeout for Perriman. So that's an official's timeout. Colts still have 3.
Dupard runs the ball on 2nd and 9 and gets to about the 16.
Now watch the last play. Darby will come from the right side. Now watch what happens right at his ankle. He kind of gets his foot down, and then it gets turned badly. And all the weight of Darby goes right on Perriman's ankle. He is being attended to on the sideline.
Might be an inside sprain, the worst kind.
It looks like they're taking him straight to the x-ray. You see that little thing that looks like a wheelbarrow. They'll put Perriman on there. All of these stadia now have x-ray machines underneath them so they can get immediate x-rays, find out if there's any real serious damage. The report card on the day. Ramsey's been sensational.
Yes, he has. Very difficult weather to throw in. Gusting wind and extreme cold. Perriman, remember that 48-yarder that set up the touchdown.
Tippett, 6 tackles, 2 sacks. The 4 takeaways for New England. Outstanding defensive job, even though Eric Dickerson goes over 100 yards rushing, 117.
I thought Tippett had 3 sacks. Well,
there's Perriman. He'll go right straight to the x-ray machine. Claiborne out today. Bowman out with a concussion, came back in. Ron Wooten has been out for most of the day.
It is 3 sacks for Andre Tippett today, 6 in the last 2 games. 11 for the season. Depending on what people like Reggie White of the Eagles do, he could be the NFL leader at day's end. Another pitch back to Depard. Tupu leads the blocking, and Depard stays in bounds. Let's check the Indianapolis report card now. Marks aren't so good. Ogaboom, the 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, and he'd not thrown an interception in the previous 2 games. Dickerson with big numbers, but unable to break the big run which they needed so badly. They could not hit the deep pass. Brooks with 4 good catches. Really only 1 distinct threat for a touchdown by Indianapolis, and they couldn't get in. 24-0.
You know, the turnaround of this game, second quarter, Colts went forward on 4th down, stopped by New England. From that point on, totally New England.
And that's been their big quarter trump all season. Indianapolis has outscored its opposition 3-1 in the second quarter. Doubleheader day on NBC Sports. The Chargers, surely the surprise team of the American Conference, 4-12 a season to go, off to an 8-1 start, playing at very tough Seattle, and Denver goes against the Raiders at the LA Coliseum. See one of those 2 games in your area on NBC Sports on this doubleheader Sunday. Rich Camarillo ready to punt the ball now for New England.
Going for the block.
Well hit. Bill Brooks from the 48. But the red shirts are there to sweep him under. Tupu leads the way on special teams. A 30-yard punt and no return. One of the most unique events in golf returns Thanksgiving weekend here on NBC Sports with the Skins game. Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer, and the defending champion Fuzzy Zeller, a Hoosier and a sharpshooter. They'll be going for $450,000 in prize money. The game starts next Saturday, Thanksgiving weekend at 3:30 Eastern Time, only on NBC Sports. Trudeau throws and overshoots Pat Beach. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football and the director of today's game is Ted Nathanson. The producer of today's game, Larry Cirillo. Associate director, Doug Grabert. Raymond Berry and the New England Patriots back on track. Offense up to speed and the defense sensational, as after a lot of criticism and a lot of questions asked about this team, they look every bit as good as they were expected to be at the outset of the season when they came in as a defending divisional champion and a favorite to win it again. Trudeau throwing on the run, makes the connection. It's ahead for a gain of pretty close to 10 yards on second down. Pat Beach caught the ball on the run. Game clock down to 2:42 to play.
Colts have 1 timeout left. They got to stay in that hurry-up offense to try to get some points on the board to salvage something this weekend.
High arcing ball. It's up for grabs and incomplete at the 22-yard line. National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to stations in the team's home area. So viewers in San Diego and the Denver area will be leaving this game in a few minutes for a telecast involving your home team. However, we'll keep bringing you up to date with reports in this game. Right now, it's pretty well decided and was long ago. 24-0 New England.
Ron Meyer's worst nightmare has come true today, especially considering the way this team played last week against Miami and the fact that they had won 3 of their last 4 football games. Today, totally dominated by New England.
Overshoot, running the in pattern off the right flank was Bill Brooks. I would put the house on the Colts coming back and playing very well next Sunday. I think this team is together. I think they're young. I think they were overpowered by the team that looks like the Super Bowl team they were 2 years ago. PBA Fall Tour rolls on to Columbus, Ohio for a turkey weekend and the $150,000 Budweiser Classic. Scheduled players include Johnny Petralia, Mike Albee, Pete Weber, and Marshall Holman. PBA Fall Tour next Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 Pacific, only on NBC Sports. Out of the backfield, George Wansley couldn't get to the ball, so the Colts misfire with 2:08 to play. Fourth down comes up. Patriots will get the ball and mercifully run out the clock. This is a tough day to play football in. The winds have not let up. Temperature down in the low 20s now. The chill factor well below 0.
Be surprised how cold it is, how much colder it is on the sideline where you're losing.
Yeah.
And you can stand the cold when your team is winning, but when it's losing, that's no fun.
Trudeau on the run on fourth down. This is it for Indianapolis, and it's intercepted. Coming up with the ball is Jim Bowman, his second interception, and he's also recovered a fumble.
That's 4 interceptions thrown by Colt quarterbacks today. It hits right at the 2-minute mark. Tough day for Indianapolis all the way around.
We'll be back as the 2-minute warning is given. Today we have co-MVPs. There's one of them, Andre Tippett, the Budweiser Most Valuable Player. The other co-MVP is the Patriot quarterback Tom Ramsey. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's NFL game. Ramsey was a standout, getting the start, and Tippett was unbelievable.
Tippett was all over the place. He had 3 sacks, 6 tackles, was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Indianapolis must have thought that there were 3 56s out there playing.
He's also an advanced degree black belt man in karate, Andre Tippett.
Let the clock run.
Again, a look at the scoreboard as we see 44 seconds to play. Buffalo holding to a 3-point lead, and Buffalo has the ball, we're informed. Chicago extending its record now to an impressive 8-2. San Francisco a winner at Tampa Bay today. That's over. Cleveland, oh, they're
tough.
Laying waste to the Oilers. There's another bubble burst today. Houston off to a spectacular start. Green Bay beating Kansas City, but then everybody's been doing that. Packers have been close to beating a lot of good teams, like the Bears, like Denver. They do a tie with Denver and lost to the Bears in the closing seconds. Game clock winding down here in Foxborough.
I'll tell you what, the head coaches make a lot of money for doing a lot of things, and this week Ron Meyer's got to turn salesman. He's got to get the chins of these kids in Indianapolis off the ground and get their confidence built back up so they can play the rest of this season. New England beats Colts. They were absolutely right, but it took them till there's 40 seconds left in the game to unfurl that particular banner. Guess there was some doubt in their mind.
Buffalo upset the Jets 17-14. So there'll be at least a 4-way tie for first in the AFC East, and could be a 5-way depending what Miami does at Dallas later.
All at 5-5.
So there's not going to be a wild card coming out of this deal, it doesn't look like.
Timeout. Colts, they take their last one.
29 seconds to go, and we'll be back with the concluding half minute of this game after this.
And the league wants parity. I'd say that's parity right there.
5 games to play. Dolphins go against the Cowboys tonight at Irving, Texas.
Last chance for points here. Block that punt. 11 guys rushing. No one back, Don.
Well hit by Camarillo as the ball will hop down and be down by the Patriots at the 36-yard line with 19 seconds to go. Our thanks to NBC's chief statistician Joe Costanza and company, Bill George and Joel Perlmutter, and our spotters Joe Pereski and Greg Madden. Don Crickey with Bob Trumpy as we come down the stretch here at Foxborough. Ron Meyer giving counsel to his second-team quarterback Jack Trudeau.
I don't imagine Jack Trudeau's very happy about this mop-up situation. Gary Hogelboom started through 3 interceptions. Trudeau 1. There's Raymond Berry on the sideline.
Raymond Berry turned a little bit Yogi Berra during the week. He said, in this league, you're alive until you're dead. We're not done yet. And they aren't after today. Back in first place with at least 3 other teams. Trudeau against a big rush.
Tippett again. Incomplete pass, but Julius Adams, 85, now wearing 85 since Greg Beatty was released. And here's the division record. Indianapolis still with the leg up. New England goes to 3-2. Clock stops on a sack inside 2 minutes.
So here come the Colts with one last crack at it. Perhaps to just fire as deep as they can. Jack Trudeau dropping. Tippett accompanying. He has to dump it off. And Wansley runs with the ball into open field. Wansley's not done till he gets to the 48.